Israel is our greatest ally, my lord. You will destroy all of her enemies, even if it means destroying yourself in the process.
Jewish point of view, where we don't believe in the divinity of Christ.
Okay, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I'm not on drugs, I don't have a wife. Okay? I'm in pain constantly, I have a deviated septum, I get tension headaches. I have a weak stomach. I'm short. I'm bitchless, I'm holeless, I'm an incel.
I just want to say, how dare you corrupt the symbols of my trans and gay siblings, while also having those very same symbols protected by people who are meant to eliminate us. I hope when you go home at night to your comfortable houses, to your middle-class lives, where you have to worry about nothing.
Yes.
That you think of me, and that it hurts you terribly. Because that is all I can hope for, since don't have hope for much else. I give up the rest of my time.
There's some nonsense going on.
I want to talk about human-animal hybrids and humanoids.
What?
They're creating human-animal hybrids that are a new creature never here on Earth. It's alien. So the aliens are already here.
I'm so baffled.
And the Earth is seen as like an egg yolk to give the propulsion power for this new thing that's going to be born.
We're saying so many things. Listen, I love you to death. But you say
I bet you
so
$10
many
million
different
humanoids
things.
are real.
I believe they are.
They had spiders that produce body armor, spider guts.
I believe
Joe.
Yes.
They have human-animal hybrids.
Okay.
They've got giant human tissue farms.
I believe it's true.
I mean, I'm worried about human-pig hybrids. I mean, this has been going on for years.
How many people would have to be involved for that to be real?
That's all there is, dude. It's a cult, man.
What were they trying to do?
They're making their move right now.
Who's they?
The globalist programmers who believe with the off-world entities they're in communication with that they're going to be given the operation to upload and be in that larger kind of Borg cube system.
Okay,
if they sell the country out.
You got to hit the brakes. You're legitimately freaking me the fuck out.
They only put soulless people in charge who are compartmentalized. Nobody else knows who will carry this out.
I'm not saying it's impossible.
That's what I'm telling you is this is hiding in plain view. And that's why it's so crazy. Imagine if you knew all this. You're trying to tell people.
What's interesting is how many people resist the idea that it's possible for someone to try to control everybody.
That's it right there. Every time I bring up a fucking subject, you know all about it.
I don't know all about
you
this.
You fucking know all about this shit.
I don't know all about
bullshit.
This.
You're a smart guy.
Listen, I don't know about this
Joe's just dumb. Joe just is a pot. Bullshit. You know exactly what you're. I don't think you're a bad guy. You're trying to survive for you and your family and do good.
Okay, but
my family, your family, none of us are gonna make it. There's a post-human era coming. The breakaway civilization. The deal's been made.
This is inevitable. They're gonna do it anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, hope you're having a wonderful night tonight. It is Friday night, and not only is it Friday night, but more importantly, it's Good Friday. It is today that we celebrate the death of Jesus Christ on the cross for us, and it is one of the best days in Holy Week. Only to be followed up by one other day, okay? There's only one other day that beats Good Friday, and it's coming up real soon, okay? You know, you get to that part in the book, and you're like, man, the main character's gone already? What's the rest of this for? And then you keep reading, okay? You're going to get to the plot twist in just a minute. It's almost there, gentlemen. It's almost there. But I hope you're doing well. I hope everybody's doing good out in the chat. Hope you're having a good Holy Week. I hope you're having a good week in general. It's Friday, so if you know you're going to have a good time tomorrow, hopefully, maybe tonight. You know, who's not having a good time are the 3 Americans that were shot down, 2 of which have been recovered, and the third is still unknown as of right now, which is very potentially hazardous. So if you are of the praying variety, which you all should be, you should be offering some prayers for that man who is possibly still behind enemy lines right now. And on top of that, we have the shuffle, you know, shuffling the deck in the Trump admin. We got oil prices doing their thing. Lots of panicking to be had. We've got Q coming out with revolutionary tech. 3D printed flow-through suppressors. Whoa, that's exciting. Pump the brakes there, Kevin. You're going a little too fast. Okay, I can't keep up with all the 241 new companies this year coming out with 3D printed flow-through cans. And you said you would never do it. Now you're doing it, which is great. It's fine. It's fun. Whatever. We'll talk about that. Really bad, really bad 2A case from the First Circuit. A bunch of retards on there. USPSA, yeah, sorry, Freudian slip. They're trying to say USPSA, but United States Postal Service steals an Uzi. And then we got assorted rage bait to end out the stream. But before we get into that, I meant to tell you it was going to be a solo stream tonight, Richard. But since you're here, how's it going?
Good.
Surviving the weather out there. Any more storms? You were streaming beforehand, right?
Yeah, so it got cut short. Got rained out. Got another storm rolling through, and it'll be raining potentially until 4 o'clock tomorrow. So
yeah, that's the weather has not been looking good, and I'm gonna be driving like 8 hours next Saturday to a match, and it's gonna be like 45 and raining. So it's like I don't even know if that's worth it, but I'll make do. Well, I'll make do.
Yeah, just wear your cleats. You'll be all right.
Richard is still thinking about Blue Waffle. I'm glad that I don't know what the Blue Waffle is. So Richard had to endure it, and I did not. So it's fine.
Be glad you don't. Enjoy your
sir. We should all be glad. I shared this today on Twitter. This is from Trigicon. Hollow Sun would never. Actually, this might be. Hold up. Let me see. This might be my most viral tweet of all time, which is like ridiculous because I literally just quote tweeted them. That's all I did. Just saying Hollow Sun would never. 2,000 likes? What? For that? I mean, base. Yes, of course, Hollow Sun would never. But Trigicon says, 1 Peter 2:24, he himself bore our sins in his body on the cross so that we might die to sins and live for righteousness. By his wounds you have been healed. 1 Peter 2:24. Again, Trigicon, for all the, lack of innovation, overpriced products, underperforming, at least they're based or based presenting, okay? At least they're based presenting. Okay. All right.
Appreciate the effort.
Yeah. You get an A for effort, for sure. Again, I still buy Trigicon and shoot, I still buy Hollow Sun and shoot Hollow Sun, of course, but at least our American companies can be based sometimes. Now, what's not based, I mean, depending on how you look at it, I guess, is we do have the U.S. is taking out civilian infrastructure now over in Iran. This is ostensibly a civilian bridge that we decided to hit today, whether it was us or the Israelis. Kind of hard to tell right now. Boom. Yeah, you can see there's lots of different angles of this. This is, it's kind of interesting to think about because this just looks like, Arizona or Eastern Washington or certain places in the U.S. And we're just hitting infrastructure right now in our continuing ongoing strikes, which is interesting because I think peace talks basically completely ended. There were some, we're going to wait 5 days, we're going to wait 10 days, that nonsense. But that was last week, okay? Or that was 3 days ago, 4 days ago, 5 days ago, whatever it happened to be. And now we're back to just going full out. Now, despite what President Trump had said on Wednesday's stream during his live address, it does in fact appear that the Iranians are not out of the fight. And in fact, we do not have complete dominance. We have not taken out all of their anti-air because today alone, it's alleged that we lost at least one F-15, although some people were reporting it was an F-35, which would be very interesting. And then it's confirmed that we lost an A-10 as well. So developing American fighter jet shot down, and Iran is trying to capture the pilot while U.S. launches a massive research and rescue operation. It seems that Iran shot down an F-15 fighter jet and is trying to capture the pilot. Now, as of right now, the pilot has been recovered with a helicopter search and rescue mission, which is absolutely insane. And they did encounter fire, and we have the videos of them flying helicopters and refuelers and getting shot at by police and all that stuff while attempting to rescue the pilot. However, the weapons officer, is still not accounted for. So we're not entirely sure whether he is alive, whether he was able to eject, whether he was not able to for some reason. And then also, as we'll get into in just a minute, we lost an A-10 closer to the Strait of Hormuz, where the pilot was able to get the plane out of Iranian airspace and then eject. So it wasn't the worst hit out there possible. But located to the Khuzestan province in southwest Iran, those are the coordinates. This would be the first time in a country intentionally shot down an American fighter jet since 1999, and the first time since the Iraq War a pilot was captured. Again, the pilot has not been captured. He's been recovered by the Americans, although we are still missing one service member. Anyone who captures the U.S. pilot alive will receive a valuable award, the Iranian state TV reported. This remains unconfirmed, but many indicators are pointing to this being true. An F-15E is worth about $100 million and has never been shot down. It has been hit, though. Well, actually, that's not true. We lost 3 of them to Kuwait. Kuwait shot down 3 of them this year. So this one is actually the 4th one that we've lost. Only 1 to enemy fire, ironically. So you can see there were Apaches, there were Chinooks, there was everything flying over trying to find the pilot. Number 1, drones, everything was out and about trying to find where did it go down, where's the pilot at. They were able to secure the pilot and not the weapons officers so far. You can see they got the refueling tankers out there, which, man, if I think there's a dangerous position to be in, it's got to be refueling helicopters. That cannot be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had F-35s. They had everything out and about. And again, this is right after Trump saying that we've basically won. They have no defenses. We get to do whatever we want. And then in the same day, we lose an F-15, sorry, and then an F-10 as well. Sorry, where is this audio coming from? That was really obnoxious. I don't know if you guys could hear that. Yeah, so and then today, a second aircraft got hit. A A-10 Warthog has crashed in the Persian Gulf. The attack went down near the Strait of Hormuz around the same time that the Air Force F-15 was shot down. The lone pilot was safely rescued. So he was hit in Iranian airspace, managed to get out of Iranian airspace before evacuating the plane, right before ejecting. Now, here's an interesting one. So during this massive search and rescue operation where you have all of the cool dudes in their helos getting into the area with, tankers and F-35s and drones doing all the support work. Like, if there was a SEAL involved in this operation, rest assured, give it a couple years, and we're going to have book after book going over the search and rescue operation for the pilot and his wingman. But here you see Iranian police officers. The Apache is flying very low there, and they decide to engage it with small arms fire. Now, allegedly, one of the helicopters that was tasked with getting the pilot out was actually hit with a manpad and smoking, and you can see it smoking in some of the footage, but it did manage to make it out. So again, this rescue operation, some were saying, well, it was kind of a trap because we took down a plane, pilots ejected, and then we set up a trap, or the Iranians set up a trap to, as soon as the American forces come in there to try and recover the pilot, use the pilots as bait to draw them in and try and take them out. Fortunately, that did not happen. Although, again, we've seen this happen before, like, what was it, Red Dawn, where we lost 21 people trying to get the team out. It could have very easily turned into a situation like that, which would have certainly escalated the situation even further. That's a little loud. And yes, that is Iranian police officers with AKs or whatever they have attempting to hit Apaches. Red Wings, my bad. I got Red Dawn and Red Wings mixed up. My bad. Red Wings. Now, that is how it's going in Iran currently. So, again, as it stands, we lost an F-15. We do not have the weapons officer. We have the pilot, not the weapons officer. So, his status is currently unknown. And then we lost an A-10, and we recovered the pilot safely. So, at most, the damage is limited to 2 airframes and 1 weapons officer, but still, that is a cost most Americans aren't willing to pay. We didn't ask to pay this. We didn't want this, but here we are. Yeah, I saw that some people were claiming an F-35E went down as well. I haven't seen that confirmed, although that's possible. I know initially it was reported that it was an F-35, not an F-15. I've seen some of the wreckage footage, the photos, which is like, maybe that's true, maybe that's not. Iranians have been really good about putting out fake images too. They even released footage of them allegedly hitting the A-10. Let me see. But I don't know if I believe that footage either, because we know that the A-10 made it out of Iranian airspace. And from the images that they put up, it looked like they took the whole thing down. So here we go. So this is Mr. Guns and Gear has the footage, because of course he does. This is what the IRGC says that, oh, here's footage of us hitting your A-10. And it looks like total obliteration. Right. However, the A-10 was able to make it out of Iranian airspace and then eject. So it was, a fatal blow, a mortal blow to the airframe, but it was still flight worthy at the time. So again, it's really difficult. Who do you trust in any of this? The answer is basically nobody, right? Because the American side, from what I've seen, we've had no update on the second officer from the F-15. And they haven't really confirmed or shown anything else. And why would they? It is a war zone after all, so they're not trying to give their enemies more intel, right? So it's a balancing act of how accountable can you be to your own people while not giving your enemies actionable, intel of some sort. And of course, Iran, there's no reason to trust anything coming out of there as well. So your guess is as good as mine, but we do know that at least 2 planes were hit, 2 pilots have been recovered, and 1 is still missing. That's what we know so far. Now, what's a little bit less fog of war-y, so to speak, is the shakeup in the current Trump admin. And that would be Slam Momdi Pam Bondi is out. And that comes after Kristi Noem was kicked out or quote-unquote reassigned. And that comes as President Trump is mulling getting rid of Tulsi Gabbard, which is, I'm quoting this. This is the coining this. This is the wine ant holocaust, okay, in the Trump admin. And this is personally worse than 1,000 9/11s, okay? We're getting rid of the wine ants from position of power, and that's how you know the war is not going well, because Trump is removing blonde women from his presence, okay, or at least fake blonde women from his presence, which is, things are serious when he's getting rid of the women outside of his presence.
Can we get a check on the Dow real quick? I'm wondering.
I'm wondering, what is the Dow currently at? 46,000. So I guess we can talk about the Epstein list now, huh, Pam? And yes, this is not the only shakeup to come in quick succession, very quick. So this was reported 1 day ago that the U.S. Army Chief of Staff General Randy George is to step down and retire immediately because Hegseth asked him to step down, which is like, okay. I imagine the discussions that they're having at the high level are tenuous at best, maybe a little stressful. Okay, there might be a little bit of male hormones going on in these discussions and being a little aggressive to one another. Probably disputes about a land invasion would be my guess, or just the war in general, right? Just general policy of these guys being like, Pete, I think this is a really bad idea. Trump is taking us into this place, and it's going to look really bad. It's going to go really bad, okay? It's not going to happen like you think it is. And then, of course, earlier today or late yesterday, on top of Randy George, we also got rid of David Hodd and William Green Jr. So we're getting rid of more generals, which is usually a sign of stability, although that is kind of just par for the course for any Trump admin at this point in time. Shakeups, reshuffling the deck of cards, mix and matching to your heart's content, I suppose. And that was really the main issue that people had after the first Trump term, was that he just didn't surround himself with very good people, and probably should have taken the hint a little bit earlier that, he is surrounded by a lot of really terrible people, and a lot of those people are still there, and they just don't seem to have our best interests at heart. It's crazy. Now, on top of that, this is a good image. Kash Patel has been a blight on everything. And he doesn't really have any credentials, no pedigree, so to speak. He's just kind of a Trump dude. He's kind of a Trump supporter. And he's also heading up the FBI, which is a little problematic. And Pete Hegseth, while not mega popular overall, has been fine with his base. I would say, he's a very, very much so a Zionist Christian. If you look on his theology and kind of his background, that's the school of thought that he comes from, which is not great. But as far as being Secretary of War, I think he kind of fits the bill for what Trump wants. However, Trump meets privately with Kash Patel and Pete Hegseth to assure them that their jobs are secure amidst swirling rumors that they may be the next cabinet members to be fired. Now, at the same time that is out, like, oh yeah, you guys are safe. Reuters is like, well, actually, Kash Patel, with his Mossad girlfriend honeypot that he's using executive funds to fly around, and he's suing people and just kind of being a general laughing stock every time he opens his mouth. Yeah, Trump likes loyalty, sure, but he's also not entirely retarded, and I think he gets optics. And Kash Patel has not been good optically since day one. Pam Bondi has not been good optically since day one. And listen, that's the pattern, okay, with Trump. It's surround yourself with dumb, retarded people, blame them, fire them, insert new dumb, retarded person. Like that's how it's gone, okay? That's how it's gone. Honestly, the only person who hasn't been an embarrassment to the Trump admin is Marco Rubio. He's the only guy that's quote unquote like professional or statesman, even though I don't particularly agree with him politically, but he's the only guy who's even been somewhat professional in that way. Yeah, exit of Trump officials, including FBI Director Patel, under discussion, Atlantic reports. Yesterday, there are discussions about FBI Director Kash Patel, Army Secretary Daniel Driscoll, and Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRimmer leaving the Trump administration, the Atlantic reported on Thursday, citing people familiar with White House plans. The timing is uncertain, and President Donald Trump has not yet made up his mind, the Atlantic reported. Reuters could not immediately verify the report. Now, it is Friday night, gentlemen. It is Good Friday, of course. And usually Trump makes moves on Friday nights. So if there is, because the markets are closed right now. So if there is something to be done in terms of a land invasion, he gave a 2-3 week time frame. Is it going to be tonight? Is it going to be next week? Is it going to be the end of the 3 weeks? Is it going to be at the end of April, right? Not entirely sure. Though it could.
Bets on Poly Market coming in saying when it's going to start?
That's actually a really good question. Let's check up Poly Market. When do we raid or invade Iran? Let's see. You really want to predict the future? Just look on Poly Market. All right, crude oil hit in April north of 120 is at 80%, which is, it's already at like 112 right now. Strait of Hormuz returns to normal by end of April, 11% chance. No, nobody's taking that one. Nobody's taking that one. Fed Lee Zeldin as the next Attorney General. Ugh.
Lee Zeldin, I do not care.
Now, Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard, 76 and 65% leaving the Trump admin odds. So I would guess that they're both out. So U.S. forces enter Iran by April 30th, 85%. And then December 31st, which is the long bet, is 89%. So it's, as according to the betting markets, all right, according to the U.S. economy, it's heading to invasion. Okay, this month, 85%. Not looking good for you guys out there. And again, this is also just funny. Ben Stager saying he's going for the hat trick on firing MILFs diabolical when it was reported that Tulsi Gabbard might be the next one removed. Yeah, Kash Patel is an easy one. And from Trump's perspective, even though I might be more aligned with Tulsi Gabbard on certain things, I mean, getting rid of Kash makes sense. Nobody likes Kash, okay? His base doesn't like Kash. The left doesn't like Kash. The hard right does not like Kash. Nobody likes Kash. Nobody likes Kash. Well, and technically speaking, that's actually true because they did deploy special forces. I'm not sure if it was SEAL or CAG or who, but to recover the pilot. So technically, we have had boots on the ground in Iran already. Now, they probably don't count that as a full-scale invasion, just, minor skirmish or something, but we did get the guy out. So yes, our boots have been on Iranian soil. Now, you know what's interesting among all of this drama is the most cogent voices come from the strangest places. Strangest places. And that being Theo Vaughn, actually, when it comes to his thoughts and opinions about the whole invasion and the situation going on. An odd comedian, razzle-dazzle crazy man, Florida man incarnate, Theo Vaughn, has the most cogent opinion on this whole thing. And then Joe Rogan is like, you need to get on antidepressants right now, which is odd. It's like, what do you mean? I mean, I've watched like clips and stuff like that, but I have not listened to his podcast or anything like that.
So you should listen to a couple of his podcasts. Interesting man. He's way smarter than he lets on.
What do you think is going to happen? You think we're going to be okay?
I hope so. Of course. I don't know.
Do you think about it?
I'm confused. I can't believe we went to this war. When we started bombing Iran, I was like, this can't be true.
And what about Lebanon now?
I know. Israel's invaded Lebanon. Yeah.
And it's like, just fucking stop. Like, what do you need?
Well, they're trying to, supposedly, they're trying to stop the terrorists.
Yeah, that's crazy, though, if you're the fucking terrorist. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to stop them, fucking stand in front of the fucking mirror and start there.
Careful, Theo. That's sounding like you're about to have an accident to the back of your head, dude.
I guess, yeah, I don't know, man. Everybody just feels scared, and it makes things scary.
They should, because a lot of things are getting exposed right now. There's a lot of fraud, and you're seeing it at the highest levels of government. And people are also scared because no one's getting in trouble for things. Like, no one's getting in trouble for the Epstein files. No one's getting in trouble for...
Yeah, that's almost disappeared, kind of.
Well, that's part of what happens when there's some sort of a big social thing. One thing that's in the past that leaders have used to cover up problems at home is a fucking war. I'm not saying that that's why they bombed Iran, but that would be a way to do it. If you're that psychotic, and if you were thinking about doing it anyway, you might be able to justify it. People have always done that also to stay in power.
Oh, yeah.
All right, this is the clip that I really wanted to look at from this conversation that they had. And yeah, we need to get you off those antidepressants. Not on, of course, but it's just like, hey, you're freaking out. You're talking too much, okay? You're getting too close. We got to stop you right there, man. Because I think that is true. Somebody said, or Task Force Tater said that Rogan is fake-based while Theo is real-based. I don't know if Theo is base, but I think that he just kind of is able to see more clearly, whereas Rogan acts as kind of a gatekeeper in the sphere, right? He's kind of like the most right they'll allow you to be, which is like pro-gay, pro-trans, generically libertarian in a lot of ways, although he's also, not entirely afraid of authoritarianism in some ways too, right? So he's kind of like this gatekeeping figure. You can't be any further right than Joe Rogan, right? Because the left likes to say like, oh, Joe Rogan's a crazy fringe conspiracy theorist. When to the right, he's like, Joe Rogan, the lefty gay dude? That's weird. That's crazy, dog.
It's all just a cat and mouse game. People are like, we'll elect the Democrats next time. It's like, but it's all the same shit has been happening forever. They haven't been helping anybody forever. They're letting fucking politicians slurp on kids. All of our fucking money goes to Israel and they're using it to fucking genocide people. It's like
based. Yeah, dude. And again, look, he's like real animated about this. And you know that he's like, he is depressed. He is unwell in some way, right? Because I suppose when you're like first realizing this stuff, like it weighs really heavy upon you, right? When you're first like realizing what's going on and how evil the world is around you, and you don't have any sort of like real coping mechanism other than like drugs, like antidepressants, right? It's gonna frazzle your mind.
Well,
It just
Theo
is.
has an addictive personality, and he's been pretty open about his issues struggling with addiction, different substances, alcohol, and I have to imagine that when he gets into something like this, it kind of consumes a little bit too.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, when you start like just falling down the rabbit hole really hard, black pilling and learning, just whatever it happens to be that you're experiencing during this, you're going to take it really, really hard. It puts you in a dark place for a little while, especially if you're already depressed, if you're already on psychedelics or whatever you're on, And again, if you're not a Christian, you don't have a real way to categorize evil in this way. It's just kind of like, oh, the world's screwed up, man, and there's nothing I can do about it, so I'm going to sit here and take my pills and scream, I guess.
everybody is scared out of their wits right now. It's like our religious leaders are afraid to speak out, and it's like it's a time where it's like Satan is amongst us, and our religious leaders are fucking talking about bullshit at the poll. It's just like, what is going? I don't know, man.
We got to get you off those antidepressants, son. You're losing your fucking marbles.
You think I am?
Come hang out with us. Just chill out.
I'm here.
See, that part is weird to me because it seems like he's trying to be friendly there, but everything Theo said is incredibly reasonable and like verifiably true. It's like, yes, our money goes to foreign entities to kill children. It does. American tax dollars have been killing children across the world, and we pay into that system. That is true. Our politicians talk about nonsense 24/7, and they'll sit on their podium and they'll talk about nonsense while not actually delivering anything that benefits the American people, right? Your politicians are evil. Your politicians are compromised. The pedophiles, whether it's all the way back to Pizzagate or before that, even with like the Finders cult and stuff like that. This stuff goes very, very deep, and the people around you are very, very evil. And so Theo's just spitting facts there. And so I wouldn't say, like, if somebody says that to me, I'm like, yeah, you're right. Whereas Joe Rogan's response to that is, oh, bro, you got to calm down, man. You got to get off those things. You're losing your mind, buddy. It's like gaslighting. You are crazy. You're losing your mind. What? Our politicians evil? Our money going overseas? What? That's crazy, dude. That's terrible. Yeah, you're totally, you're insane, man. Hey, the Snucka. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, man.
Happy birthday, brother.
Well, of course, it goes. I'm talking specifically about the American government, which, yes, you could push that back to the 1700s if you really wanted to, probably. But yeah, it goes back a long ways, and talking about it does not, in fact, make you a crazy person. Now, Hexeth, let's talk about him for a minute. Kind of based in a way, although I gotta be real, this is gonna cause a lot more NDs from a specific type of individual on military bases, okay? There's a specific person here that maybe it's wise to restrict their ability to carry in certain areas, okay? As we've seen a few notable instances of them accidentally, quote unquote, killing each other, Hexeth authorizes off-duty service members to carry private firearms on installations. Like, okay, it's kind of based. However, the effect of this, I hate that it just opened up another tab. Relax. Will be quite silly.
Our great republic was founded on a simple yet bold idea. Our rights as citizens are not granted to us by government, but instead by God. 250 years ago, the Revolutionary War was fought to secure our God-given rights. The Second Amendment to our Constitution enshrines the right of all citizens to carry weapons to protect themselves, their families, and their fellow countrymen. The War Department's uniformed service members are trained at the highest and unwavering standards. These warfighters, entrusted with the safety of our nation, are no less entitled to exercise their God-given right to keep and bear arms than any other American. Our warfighters defend the right of others to carry. They should be able to carry themselves. Recent events like what happened.
And again, I am fine with the intention behind it. I think that is based, of course. I think a necessary consequence of this is two young gentlemen, two young scholars battling it out in the barracks for the honor of the barracks bunny. Of course, I think that you will see a lot more instances of unintended discharges just as a necessary consequence of this. And again, it's like based, I get it. However, maybe there is some logic behind restricting certain people's access at times, right? Now, to round out this section here, we have the oil prices, okay? Because that's what everybody's been talking about. Very, very important. Currently sitting at $111 a barrel, which is up earlier last week or middle of this week. It was about 95 to 100. Now it's jumped up to 111, 112. And if this war continues, which it looks like it is, if there is actually a boots on the ground invasion, that will spook the market, no matter what Trump says at that point. 130, 140, 150, definitely possible. 100%. So yeah, look to that to continue. Now, because this is a gun channel, we might as well talk about ammo prices as well, okay, to see how the ammo shortage is coming along. And it looks like 223 is sitting between 40 and 45 cents a round shipped. If you want some of your nicer American loads, it's like, okay, well, that's 46, 47 for Fiocchi, which is actually, I enjoy Fiocchi. Federal is at 47. It's like, it's perfectly fine. And I checked earlier today, 9mm is sitting again, 24, 25 cents a round shipped. So despite all of the panicins on YouTube, it does seem that ammo prices relatively stable. More stable than oil prices, that's for sure. Now, will there be a slight increase in the future? Of course. Probably. Yes. I mean, just look at inflation, okay? We're actually kind of lucky that 5.56 has remained around 40 cents a round for the last 3 years. Because inflation, if we just went off the inflation over the last 3 years, we'd be paying like 50 cents a round, right? For it on the low end. But again, anywhere between 40 and 45 cents a round shipped, pretty good right now. And yeah, there are some big box stores that have 115 right now local to me for like 23 cents a round, I think is the cheapest I can get it. But it does seem that there are store shelves still filled with ammo, ready to ship at the lowest prices that we've seen, lowest prices relative to pre-COVID prices that we've seen in a long time. Now, what about a change of subject? What about something more gun-related, shall we? Or at least tangentially gun-related. This is the Q. Mr. Kevin Brittingham. This is the Lefty, which is a flow-through 3D printed can. Now, Richard, can you talk for a second? I don't know if my headphones are still plugged in.
Yes, I can talk.
Nope.
You got nothing.
Did you talk?
Okay. I did. In fact, I am still talking right now.
Well, I got to fix this real fast. Entertain the audience 1 minute, okay?
I will do my best to entertain the audience for a couple minutes. What's your guys' thoughts on Q and Kevin and his decisions to name it the Lefty? He's bald. Yes, indeed, he is bald. He's been that way for a minute. Dance, Richard, dance. Not being able to hear me sounds like a good thing. Yeah. He doesn't realize how good he's got it right now. Yes, of course I have to ask, Logan. Do you not know how to engage chat? I mean, come on. That's how you hack the engagement. You guys are wild. Some of these I'm not even Oh man. Testicle with facial hair. Are you reading the side chat?
All right. Well, the headphones are done. Tragic, but that is what it is. Anyways, so why the lefty? Now, the lefty, if you're not aware, is Q's first stab. It's been teased for a while, but they decided to put up a video, so I decided to talk about it. Their lefty is a 3D printed silencer that has reduced back pressure, even though Kevin Brittingham has for years touted the detriments of flow through cans, exaggerating them wildly to prop up his own substandard product, while saying that his new cans are literally the best ever made, literally cutting edge, unrivaled technology, while being around since the turn of the 19th century. So, not particularly cutting edge, in my opinion. And he also makes some claims about the lefty silencer by Q. And we'll talk about that a little bit, shall we?
Why the lefty silencer? Now I know what you're thinking. Flow through sucks. It's loud as
Flow through doesn't suck. Flow through is actually really nice. It's really nice to shoot flow through. Once you shoot flow through suppressors, you're not as interested in shooting other non-flow through suppressors. And as for them being loud, that's just not the case. Now, it might be like, oh, the Flow 556K from Huxworks, which is a really small can with almost no back pressure. That one is loud. It's still quieter than some other K cans on the market, but that one there is a loud suppressor, but that's not the point, is to be the quietest. The point is to have no back pressure, right? So like Cat White Bread, very, very good in terms of sound suppression. It just is. It's rather quiet. Hop says, flow-through suppressors are based, actually. I'm surprised Kevin didn't know that. Yeah, but the idea that flow-through suppressors are loud in some ways, I mean, I don't really take Q science very seriously, but even just you can look around other third-party numbers. There are plenty of chart-topping flow-through suppressors, so there are absolutely ways to make that quieter. Now, I would actually argue the other way, that the downside of flow-through suppressors is that it's difficult to make them in a traditional way. So they almost necessarily have to be 3D printed because of the very advanced, very complicated geometry. And there are a lot of issues that come with 3D printing. It's good when implemented properly, and there are certainly applications for it. However, with like Stealth Additive Works and other, the Sierra 5 from Dead Air, which, you know, randomly blew up, there are issues when it's not implemented properly, when it's not set up properly, when it's done by people who don't know what they're doing because they've never 3D printed anything before, and then they add it to a pressurized system that gets very, very hot, and things get a little wonky at times, right? So there are detriments to flow-through technology, but sound is, you know, not really one of them, again, unless we're picking like a really extreme example, like a Flow 556K, because it's a really small can with no back pressure, and yeah, it's flashy, and it's not particularly quiet.
super flashy. Flow.
Again, it's like you can pick out, like the famous one is like a Flow, you know, any Hux can that happens to be titanium. It's like, yeah, they shoot sparks and flames. It's kind of what happens with those. However, on the flip side, there are plenty of traditional baffled cans that are not great at flash mitigation. That might be shocking, but yes, there are plenty of, like YHM is famous for having cans that are traditionally baffled and not particularly good at flash reduction. So again, it's the way that the technology is implemented. That's it. See, again, even like the Polo K is probably the best value can when it comes to suppression, like size and weight, cost, suppression, flash reduction. However, I still wouldn't buy one now because I would rather shoot something that has less back pressure personally, right? Because I'm always wearing headphones. I don't really care what the number is, whether it's 137.6 or 138.1. I don't particularly care. Okay, that doesn't matter to me. I'm wearing headphones and I'm wearing foamies a lot of the time too, because I shoot at such a high volume. But I would really like to not get gassed out. You know, jokes could be made there, but I will refrain for the moment.
through cans have a muzzle flash the size of this room. It's huge. Whack as
You're thinking, wow, Q is a bunch of hypocrites.
Well, not really, you know, because I think people are allowed to change their mind, but they always cage it in like a really gay way. So rather than just saying Q was wrong, like that Kevin was wrong, he has bad opinions trying to hawk his own products, you're like, well, actually, we did it, but we did it better than everybody else. It's like, we'll see about that. We'll see about that, buddy.
Maybe you're right, but maybe old KB here has got a...
Listen, okay, Bull Shark, when you say whack, that's when you know that you're in with the kids, okay? I say whack from time to time, okay? But that's because I'm trying to keep my relevancy, dog. I mean, playa. I mean, homie, for real. No cap. Yeah? Even that's too old, though.
Point. Perhaps flow through as a concept doesn't suck, but maybe it's cans like this one.
Okay, now what flow through can is that? Is that the white bread or no?
This one and
is that the RC3?
This one.
Now that's the Flow 556 for sure, guaranteed. And yeah, if you're saying, well, the Flow 556K is actually not particularly quiet, it's like, well, it's a high flow K can. Ta-da! It was not, you know, it's spoiler alert, it's not designed for the quietest can on the market. Is that the B&T one? Well, has B&T ever made a good product? Asking for a friend. Has B&T ever made a good product? The well rod? Okay. Okay.
Unreasonably loud, essentially a flamethrower, cruising along on the additive manufacturing.
Dude, is that Andrew Tate at home?
I think it is.
That's Andrew Tate at home, bro. That's crazy.
Flamethrower, cruising along on the ad.
Yeah, again, RC4 Mini is a new one, although that one there is not 3D printed. No, it's still a welded core design. Yeah. I don't think the RC4 is 3D printed. It has its foreskin, which, you know, helps with flash and stuff like that. It is a reduced back pressure can. And from what Lucas says, he really likes it. So I am not super interested in buying like a, you know, a can that expensive, but say, Libby.
Additive manufacturing hype train. The suits upstairs want me to read this script.
All right. Quick interview clip, blah, 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 blah. 3D cutaway animation. Dude, scripting like this, unbelievable. Use Notepad, nothing else. What is
like
this format?
Paragraph.
Low blow technology redirects and controls the expanding gases inside the silencer to reduce back pressure at the source. Less gas to the shooter, smoother cycling, reduced blowback, and a gun that runs cleaner and flatter, especially for the higher volume shooters. Okay, whatever, bro.
Explaining flow through like you're 6 and overcomplicate this whole thing. It's simple, really. We made something light and quiet that keeps the gas out of your face.
Now, lightweight, you know, that's kind of subjective. Okay, that's kind of subjective. So when you look up the Lefty and you look at its weight and it's 14 ounces. I'm not a huge fan of 1 pound silencers, and I believe that's without the mount or with just a direct mount. 6.5 inches. It's a 1.6 diameter can, 14 ounces. It's like, it's average though. Like a Cat White Bread is like a heavy can. It's about 14 ounces. Most other cans out there are 14 ounces. So again, when you claim it's lightweight, it's like, not really. Like, I love K cans. So the one thing that I still love about the Turbo K and the Resonator K is not their sound performance. It's not their flash mitigation, but the fact that they're 9 ounces, you know, without anything on them. They're 9 ounces at the end of my gun, which is a lot nicer than having like 17 or up to 21 with my RDM for the Hux flash hider and the Hux mount adapter, plus the White Bread RDM is like 21 ounces total. That's a lot of weight at the end of a 14.5, okay? That's 1.5 pounds sitting on the very, very end of your gun. Not super fun. So, I mean, 14 ounces compared to that is lightweight, but I would not consider 14 ounces lightweight. I would just say that it is standard.
The gun running smooth while also mitigating the flash. We printed the core and kept the tube.
Okay, so you have... This is the interesting part where I'm like, is this really efficient? Because the core is all you need to be 3D printed, right? Because that's where all the complex geometry is. the outer tube is still machined, so it's technically probably a little bit stronger because it's not, sintered, melted together or whatnot. And then the machined mount, because you can machine the mounts pretty easily. So maybe this makes sense to compartmentalize the tech, like literally compartmentalize the tech,
Maybe that's
where
what
only
Saul needs to
the
do is
complex
just sleeve
components
their
are
cans.
machined. Say again?
That's what Saul needs to do is just sleeve their cans, keep them from blowing up.
Well, I mean, the problem with saw cans though is that the outside geometry is also complex. The same thing with ambient arms, right? Where the exterior geometry is very complex, like especially the ambient arms that has the fins on the inside of the outer sleeve at the very end of the muzzle or at the end of the suppressor. That would be very difficult to machine. That's a lot. I don't even know how you would machine that.
Did you see the video that Ian released earlier today?
Yeah, I watched the video that Ian did, and I found it very whelming because he shot much slower than everybody else, and he was using the longest barrel, and then he compared it against people who are shooting much faster with much shorter barrels. And so I'm like, what does this video even mean? Like, there's nothing here. There's no useful information at all, And again, in my opinion, like that information is only useful for like people going up against near peer OP4. And if that's your plan, like if you're a war fighter, that's cool. Okay. But as for the average shooter, like maybe you care, maybe you don't. You still can't touch the thing though. And everybody says that you still can't touch it. So don't think that it's cool just to grab that thing whenever you feel like. You're still going to get burned by it.
He was going to try and grab it.
Yeah, it's like, listen, if I shoot 60 rounds at a near peer OP4 and I'm worried about giving away my position, like if they're near peer, they have their own night vision, their own suppressed guns, their own thermals. It's like evading detection is quite difficult. All right. So it's a very, very nasty circumstance that you found yourself in where you're fighting multiple magazines against a near peer OP4. So
pieces in and out. Simple, easy, effective. Run the montage.
Now I cut most of the montage. It's interesting too to me. Okay, I can't show you the shooting because we're on a YouTube live and YouTube doesn't allow me to watch YouTube videos on a YouTube live. I don't know why that works. That just is the way that it is. However, the takeaways from watching the guy shoot, you can see that he's still blinking when he shoots, and it's like odd that your flow-through can is looking like it's gassing out the shooter, and it's called the lefty, right? To help lefties, because lefties have the ejection port right next to their face. And it seems like the system is really overgassed. So either it's not as low back pressure as you're saying it is, or you put it on a really overgassed gun, which is like not the best showcasing platform. Because what I would imagine, if I'm doing the marketing materials for my products, I'm not going to put like my flagship suppressor, my low back pressure suppressor, on something that's like really badly gassed to begin with, because it doesn't make my suppressor look good. Why would I do that? I would put it on, something that's really nice, like a Criterion or a Geisley or something like that, where it's gassed properly and it's going to showcase what the suppressor can actually do when used properly. And it seems silly to me that you put it on a gun that's like obviously overgassed and the shooter is still blinking while shooting in rapid succession. Doesn't really help.
Every 4 computers now have primary control.
Also, I believe I am getting the RDJ6, whatever it's called, Ridgeback Defense. The letters and numbers have completely escaped me at this point. And then today I was in talks with another guy who's just a machine shop dude who's starting his own suppressor company, which is like cool that I actually know the guy and he's making his own products. But he's sending me 3 suppressors to try out. So that should be, and they're like value suppressors. So that should be fun. So within the span of, it's only been 4 months into 2026, both in the span, I've gone from 2 suppressors for like 5 years to soon having 8 in like 3 months. So yeah.
Critical vehicle function. 3, 2, 1.
That's the Okay, so you can see the 3 different pieces here. So the outer piece is just a machined sleeve, all honky-dory there. You have the fancy-dancy swerving helical advanced flow redirect internal geometry, blah, 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 blah. And then you got the mount at the bottom. Now, I'm not sure the way that this is going to work. Is it direct thread only or is it plan B only? Like, how does that work? Because I don't think you could just unscrew the base unless you can. That's a huge mount on the bottom if you can just unscrew it. Although to me, it looks like that's a plan B mount, which is fine. Plan B is a fine suppressor mounting system. There's plenty of muzzle devices out there. Q obviously has the cherry bomb, which is a terrible muzzle device. But you know, there are plenty of alternative plan B muzzle devices out there that you can use. Okay, so you can see the cutaway, and what's funny to me about the cutaway is you can see how it like redirects a little bit of the gases at the very back into these different channels on the side that are circular around the whole thing so that the gas can like spin and spiral and slow down more gently, right? But in the center of the can is just like really traditional baffles. So it's like, it's almost like 4 parts. So in the very middle of it, you have very traditional baffles, and then you have like the outer sleeve in between the machined part and the actual tube, the actual outer tube itself. That's where you have the flow through technology or the reduced back pressure, like the I guess extra space for the gas to go, and instead of hitting us slamming into a wall, it just, you know, slowly spirals out and slows down over a longer period of time, which leads to reduced back pressure. But yeah, it looks like a very normal can with a little bit of like, it's like a hybrid. It's like standard baffle and some reduced back pressure zones to give you a little bit more flexibility, and hopefully it's not as bad to shoot, you know? Well, and that's the thing. I don't know if it's wasted space, because that's the thing about like suppressor technology, if you want to even call it that. Like, traditional baffles do work for mitigating sound. Like, you know, if you look at Q and like the Maxim suppressor from 120 years ago at this point, pretty damn similar, because it turns out that yeah, the V-shaped baffles really effective at reducing sound. And it seems like, I don't know if they're trying to be like, well, we're a little bit reduced back pressure, but we're really still good at sound suppression and good flash performance as well, question mark. So it's like, as much as I like new technology in the suppressor industry, I also I don't think there's a lot of room to work. You know, it's like you either get something crazy like the ambient arms where they lie to you and they tell you like, oh, it actually doesn't use a Venturi, but then it's like obviously a Venturi, you know, and it stays cold on the outside for like 2 magazines, you know, tops. And it's, again, if you shoot any actual volume, 300-400 rounds in a range session, it's still going to be burning hot. It's still going to be glowing under thermals. It doesn't really matter all that much. So for me personally, like, it really comes down to weight and back pressure. If I can use it without ruining the system that it's on, and if I don't get gassed out while using it, that's really what I personally care about. I know some people are like really into night vision or whatnot, and they're like, well, it can't spark, it can't have too much flash because I don't want it to ruin my own shooting performance. And if I'm really worried about an op4, then I need to keep that sound or that visual and the sound signature as low as possible. That's other people's complaints, not really mine. Oh yeah, what did he say? It's not, oh yeah, not hypocrisy, not hypocrisy, but iteration. And then it shows it. And I mean, it's like, I'm sure it's fine. You know, if it's a hybrid, traditional, low back pressure, I'm sure it's fine. The price tag also isn't egregious, which is maybe the more strange part, is that they're only like $900, which is like, it's expensive, and everybody's trying to do something to justify roughly that 1,000 hypocrisy. Everybody's doing something to justify that $1,000 price tag, basically. So 3D printed with our advanced reflex, low back pressure, ventriloquist system or something, right? Because everybody wants to keep it that $1,000 price tag for some reason. For some reason, everybody wants to charge $1,000 for their 3D printed suppressors. Somebody out there eventually has got to be like, you know what, we're doing a 3D printed can, and it's going to be $4.99 out the door. Somebody's going to do that, and once they do, the whole market like collapses top down. And I mean, really, as of right now, what's the company making a sub $500 can? Maybe a YHM on sale, like a really good sale. A YHM will touch 400.
AB.
Yeah, I mean tuna cans, but their whole thing is that they're really cheap cans. They're just ridiculously cheap because they're like, they're like Form 1 kits from a few years ago. Yeah, I know tuna cans is. I have it. The ABs, yes, the AB, the A10 series can touch the $400 range. Whip Machine, yeah, but Whip Machine is also like just the most simple cans possible. Yeah. Jack Defense is already doing a $7.99 3D print can. Yeah, CM&G. Which is it? A 22 can that's 500? Because I know 22 cans can be cheaper. I just wish real cans would be cheaper. Okay, 9mm and 5.56, the only real calibers. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I have seen Otter Creek Labs polos for sub 500 every now and again. That's true.
High Point.
That's true. I forgot that thing exists. JK Armament. No, JK Armament made it way more expensive. Didn't they? Their cans like went up in price because I remember when they were a Form 1 company. Yeah, I know, the B&P Tiger. Everybody's trying to keep like between $800 and $1,200 for their flagship suppressors, which makes sense. The market overall is down a little bit, and suppressors are high margin products that are new. It's a burgeoning marketplace in the greater firearms landscape. So a lot of people are getting a lot more cans, and I know that from personal experience as well. All I have to do is fork over $100 for NFA transfer, and I can get whatever can I want for a good price, basically. All right, well, how about we move on from Kevin for a second? Well, actually, we'll get to your guys' support since we're at the hour mark, and then we're going to take a look at the First Circuit Court saying that actually buying a gun is not protected by the Second Amendment. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that.
What?
Yeah, you heard that right. The First Circuit Court says that buying a firearm is not pivotal to the Second Amendment, is not covered by the Second Amendment. Zanico for 2 says, I hit the like button not because John told me to. Well, I usually don't even tell you to. That's for somebody else to do. But thank you for doing that. I appreciate it, Zany. Amorai Boy for 2. Late and gayer than an ice storm in April. It's gonna happen, dude. It's going to happen. Thank you, Amorai Boy. Zany for 2 says, first comp this year in 16 hours. Stuff and mag. #GM soon. Yeah, you'll get it. No problem, man. GM in no time. No time. I think everybody can make GM in a year. And anybody who it takes longer than a year is very bad. Z556 NATO for 5 says, entertainer is behind schedule and prefers the company of men. Well, most men prefer the company of men. Let's be real, okay? Ever since the Greeks, men have preferred men. In different contexts, but yeah, I prefer being around men.
Don't they have their own wrestling as a result of that?
They did, yeah. They had also they were the first real battle buddy system where they would send out the gays to fight first with their partner, and then when their partner died or one of them died, they would become more enraged and they would send them out to fight first, which is quite comical when you think about it.
Isn't that where Maitland
your first offensive line is a bunch of gay Greeks? Yeah, fun times.
I think that's where Maitland comes from. Shipmate.
Maybe. Lightsport for 2 says, well, listen, there's a lot of semen in the sea. Lightsport for 2 says 500 on post, 910. Let's make money, boy. Oh, well, actually, I think you were right. Lightsport. I was very late today. Bullshark for 5 says, how much to get Jake to say, I call this the helicopter? Well, I think he'll be on Monday again. So you can ask him on Monday, Bullshark. I'll pull it up for him. Jackson Fogelman for $20.69. Why, thank you very much, good sir. Says, hey, John, thanks again for curating these uppers of yours. Been shooting my first AR/SPR with your Krieger, and it's grouping 1 MOA with M855 all day. Super exciting getting into this game. God bless you, sir. Well, God bless you too, Jackson Fogelman. I did see a lot of people disagreeing with your interpretation of 1MOA, though, and I am curious myself as well, as M855 is not known for its extreme accuracy. So are you getting 1MOA one-shot groups? 1MOA, sorry, 3-shot groups, 5-shot groups, 10-shot groups, and are they at 100 yards? Because, listen, if you find an M855 load that's shooting at 1MOA, you should let everybody else know what that load is, okay? So that we can all buy that. If we're going to panic buy something, let's panic buy the 1MOA M855, okay? Thank you, Jackson Fogelman. Thank you. Lightspore for 2 says total gene stealer death. True. Very true. Based in 40K pill. Rubicant for 20 says, my favorite is Kevin clowning on Huxworks and the other first-to-market flow-through cans while using low blow as the new term to differentiate that he is just standing on the shoulders of others. Yeah, when you're the guy who's known for innovating and everybody copies from you, according to Kevin Brittingham, and then you're like, well, actually, I kind of should do low back pressure. And why? Because low back pressure is actually nice to shoot and doesn't give me cancer. So I like low back pressure. But this one's for you, Rubicant.
Sorry, I don't speak monkey. Banana.
That's the everybody else talking to Kevin. Vandalay, member for 9 months, says, I heard the missing pilot is Sam Hyde. Yes, pray for Sam Hyde. Shot down by Samuel Haida over in Iran today. Our Vandalay for 2 says, gentlemen, we have just lost the initiative. Well, we just lost two fighter jets in the same day. Not a great start to our total air dominance that I was told we had. I was told we had total air dominance. They were defenseless. They had nothing left to do. They had nothing left to fight with. And then we lose 2 jets the next day. Not great. Milspec Max says, John, thoughts on the Ruger RXM? Dude, if you are poor maxing, which is based, then like the Ruger RXM, for me personally, the Glock 47 sized one is like the one to get. And I've seen them online for like $350. They're dirt cheap. And I mean, like they have a decent optics mounting system, like okay, better than a Gen 6 Glock mounting system. The frames are decent, you know, and they're compatible with most aftermarket parts. So if you're poor maxing, you want a Glock cloned, you don't already own a Glock for some reason, like go for it. Now me, I already own a Glock. So for me, it's like, I want to get another 17/47 size gun, but I'm like, I already have one though. So why am I just spending $350 on a worse one? Like why? You know, it's hard for me to justify that. Thank you, Milspec Max. Chud for 2 says, no, my wife, Richard Mogagassi. Appreciate that. Thank you, Chud. Zanico for 5 says, Richard, the opposite of whatever Chud wants. What's the opposite of gassy mogged?
I
don't even want to know. Well, actually, no, I do. It's probably Miku. Yeah, it's probably Miku. No, that's not it. That's not the opposite. That's still fat. And definitely gassy. At that weight, there you go. That's perfect. Perfect. Thank you, Zanico. Appreciate you getting that gassy off my screen. Cody Fisher for $20.
I'm kind of retarded.
Shut the fuck up, man.
Logan is not a Little Hat follower. Yes, Logan is an Orthodox Christian. By the way, ask him how his training session went tonight. We are glad he's still with us. I want tray night and toes for Friday. Tray night and toes for Friday. Oh, it's big toe money. Well, of course you want big toe money. I need to get the clip of tray night. I can find it though. If you really want tray night, fine. Anyways, here's big toe money.
This is a song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, boy, I'm too gone. Hey, take money, big toe money. This is a song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, boy, I'm too gone. My feet feel good, your feet where they should. Y'all just sitting in the grass with a cigarette. Take money, big toe money. That's a bigger check. Walking in, everybody.
Nice. Anyways, here's Read Night for a second. Thank you, Cody Fisher. Appreciate that. Julio Villoria for $20. Damn, you guys are throwing money at the screen tonight, which we appreciate. But I'm just saying.
Skibbity toilet Riz. Okay.
Thank you. It says Karg Island invasion will fail. Trump will offer Iran a ceasefire deal to open the strait to the west. Israel would keep bombing Iran, but the Iranian regime will turn a blind eye while their citizens get martyred. Cryptocracy. Well, I don't think any invasion effort we have will fail outright. I think we will certainly be successful in like the invasion as far as like actually landing troops go. However, I think holding Karg Island, as other people have postulated, is a really bad idea because it allows the Iranian mainland to still hit us. Like they can just if they don't have the island, they can just bomb it, right? So they can send drones, they can send ballistic missiles at our troops and infrastructure and vehicles that are stationed on Karg Island, if that were to be a target. And we would have to like incredibly quickly set up perfect missile air defenses, right? Very quickly, almost instantaneously, right? Because as soon as we take the island and they no longer have it, well, then they can just wipe it off the map. So I would prefer we did not do that. Thank you, Julio, though. Mega based. Appreciate it. Graham Bergdorf for 20 says, I'm out with the wife tonight, so I can't catch the stream, but take it easy and keep up the good work, guys. Gotta save the VOD for tomorrow. At work, keep that Jake rap going. Gosh dang it, you guys are absolutely insane. But thank you, Graham Bergdorf. Have a great night with the wife. That's awesome. Mega Base, great use of your Good Friday.
This is a song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, boy, I'm too gone. Hey, Jake money, big toe money. This is a song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, boy, I'm too gone. My feet feel good, your feet where they should. Y'all just sitting in the grass with a cigarette. Jake money, big toe money, that's a bigger check. Walking in, everybody.
I'm never going to be able to get that out of my head. You guys have got to stop that. Steven Rivas becomes a new member. Appreciate that, sir. Little Booty Fart, member for 5 months, says the LGBTQ boom box. The queer box. The Q stands for queer. Thank you, Little Booty Fart. Steven Rivas, member for 2 months. What? How do you become a member and a member for 2 months? Christ is King. Have a blessed night, Drew. Thank you. Christ is King. And yes, you as well. Good sir. Thank you. Chud for 2 says, I wonder if this can will be incredibly gassy. Huh? Yeah. Every time. Gets him every time. Bullshark for 5 says, so if you get a Q hot and worked up, does it bend to the right or to the left? Well, you know, old Q is getting up there in age, so gravity is not doing him any favors. So I think if it gets too hot, it's probably going to bend down. That would be my guess. Thank you, Bullshark. Moonman for 10 says 3D printed means I should be paying almost nothing. If someone didn't mill it by hand on top of a mountain, why pay more than the $20 an hour an employee made it for and the price of a Home Depot pipe? Well, I think from what I've been told, of course, the machines are very expensive and the actual blocks, the actual raw materials are very expensive. So I've heard anywhere from $50 to $200 worth of material gets put into like an Inconel can. So especially if it's Hanes or some other more specialized material. So the blocks themselves can be quite expensive.
I'm just wondering why they won't accept printed money for printed cans. I mean, like I should be able to do it in my garage.
Yeah, I mean, you can 3D print your own like carbon. They have that carbon fiber wrap that can last for a little while.
No. I want to print. I want to print the money to give them.
Right.
They won't let me do that.
No, for some reason they want real money. It's crazy, dude. Logan for 10 says nothing dangerous happened at all. I definitely did not properly holster my gun, and it definitely didn't fall out and hit the ground pointing at my head. None of that happened at all. Well, listen, Logan, as long as you do that in dry fire, you're supposed to practice that in dry fire. If you practice that in a match, they send you home, right? You don't get the grand prize. You don't become a grand wizard. They just send you home. So I'm glad it was during dry fire, not during a match. Logan for another 5 says, I'm definitely not planning on getting a range panda holster to prevent anything like this from happening again. What's a range panda holster? Is that just like a Chinese guy that follows you around to make sure you don't drop your gun?
I think
that would be funnier.
That'd be more accurate.
The Apex. Oh, it's just I don't know. It looks nice. Looks like a regular holster. Oh, is it because it has like the barrel shroud thing as well that it like fits in there?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Limited holsters are silly. They're funny to me. I'm glad you didn't die though. Thank you, Logan. Chud for 2 says gassy focus could be a thing if I modify that pick. I've seen worse. Let's be real, Chud. Thank you. Chips Debo for 5 says CMMG has options for up to 30 cal for 500, by the way, for like just standard cans, though, not 3D printed. We're talking about standard welded cans for $500. Because that's the thing. Like taking a stack of machined baffles, you know, putting them in a tube or just welding just them together is not very complex and has been done for literally over 100 years. So, you know, if we could get the economy of scale there to not charge me $500 for a can, that would also be cool, right? Which is what companies like Tuna Cans and other are doing. Like you can get a full 17.4 welded can for like $2.99 out the door from Tuna Cans. Thank you, Chips. Appreciate that. Logan for 5 says, none of this happened in the VC, and I definitely wasn't streaming it to the VC either. Streamed live to the VC, dude, getting called out in 4K. Very funny. Very, very funny. There's another Toe song has hit the market. Unbelievable. I'm not going to play that during stream. That can be for next week. Moonman for 10 says, S4 sounds a lot like they will take a while to make their money back on that then, because 3D printed metal does not make it not 3D printed. But more importantly, Richard, that thing I made you. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these companies are trying to make their suppressor money very quickly, because even though they're temporarily, you know, no cost to the NFA, imagine in 28, you get a new Congress, new Senate in like 6 months, right? But even worse in 2028, when the tax goes from $0 to $5,000 per item, which is a possibility. That is a possibility that it does go up to like $5,000 per NFA item. Zanico for 10 says, I'm tired of hearing Logan. I want to shoot better than him, John. I'm going to do it by the end of the year. Maybe this super chat gets me a Focus jersey or Richard turns his camera on. Well, $10 is not enough for a jersey, and Richard turning on his camera is pure accident, pure happenstance. So I can't guarantee you luck for a tenner. But what I can guarantee you is if you work very, very, very hard, if you truly apply yourself to all of the fundamentals, devote your life entirely to USPSA, you still won't be as good as Logan. Thank you, Zanico. Knox Spectre for 2 says, Q needs a gassy can, and to name it, pull my finger. Okay, Cat and Q should have a gay name off. They'd both win, by the way. Trick question. Logan for 2 says this was definitely not during live fire. No.
Yeah.
No, you did it during live fire training. Oh, buddy. Woo. Have I ever dropped a hot gun? I don't think I have. I've tripped with a hot gun, but I don't think I've ever dropped a hot gun, like especially a 2011 pointed back at my face, dude. Imagine one tapping yourself in a Discord call, and that's how you go out accidentally. I mean, cosmically, it would be funny. Specifically, it would not be, but on a cosmic sense, it would be kind of funny. Thank you, Logan. Jax, this one always gets me wrong because I want to read it Jackson Fogelman, but it's Jackson Fogelman. For $11.11. I don't know how he gets these crazy numbers. I emailed you the group. Shoot. Which one of my emails? Now I got to pull up all 3 of my emails to see which one you sent it to me. Thank you, Jackson Fogelman. I'm looking it up right now. Chips Dubbo for 10 says, any good holster recommendations for a G47, by the way? Just got one last week, and I'm new to handguns, to be honest. Well, I don't really have any recommendations. They're up there with a Glock 17 inside of it. There's actually a really good holster. It's not mine, and I don't remember the brand, but it's Space Cowboys, and I actually quite like it. So that's one I would get, and I would tell you what it was if I could go grab it, but it has a gun in it right now. And as far as like inside the waistband holsters, just get what's comfortable. I'm sure, people like the Tier 1 concealed or the Tenacore, or some of these other holsters that are out there that are, reputable, high quality. I've used a lot of really cheap holsters in my time, and personally, it does not make that big of a difference. So
I'm still
it's
using an $11 holster from 2021.
Yeah, it's for 2 years. I carried in one of those Uncle Mike's like faux leather holsters, and I found that very comfortable. Was it particularly fast? No, but I mean, You know, every now and again, you might need a sub 1 draw for a perp or a mugger, but it's probably less likely than you think. Thank you, Chips Double. So just the point of it is find something that works for you and is comfortable for you, and then kind of just forget about it, you know. Compulsive Gun Buyer for 2 says, remember, fellas, it is finished. True, it is finished. Good Friday today. We got the rest of the story coming up this week. Don't you worry, okay? There's part 2 coming up. Thank you, Compulsive Gun Buyer. Appreciate that. How's your leg doing, by the way? I saw on Instagram, was it, that you got a brand new, rather large birthmark on your leg from a suppressor. It was like I think it was on a story, but it was like a patch like this big is what it looked like of a suppressor burn on his leg. That's why you don't wear shorts to the range, okay? You never wear shorts to the range. And then Chud for 10 says, Richard, focus trip, gassy. Did he send you an image?
He did. I'm getting it right now.
Okay, guys. Well, here's the thing. You know, you guys were all doubting Fogelman. You were saying, nope, not possible, not real. But it does appear, I mean, at least he's showing it. This is my upper, the Krieger, which is the 16-inch one, I think. But this is what he's showing. And what is the group? Ranged at 100 yards with the rangefinders. Were these results repeatable? No, but we do a little trolling. So that is the group right there. What was the type of ammo? Do you remember? Because that's a for M855. Like that's a dang good group. I'll take that.
IMI.
Oh, does it say IMI 855? Okay.
Yep, that's what I was shooting with the other day, and I got 1.7 was about the best that I could do, but it was pretty windy.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, listen, M855 realistically is like a 2 MOA, 2.5 MOA with most. So you can certainly get 5-round groups between 1 and 2 MOA from time to time. But yeah, it's probably not the most repeatable. Thank you, Mr. Fogelman. I appreciate that. Thank you. Zanyco for 2 says local gun store has a Polo 762 for $500. Yay or nay? The question is, are you shooting any 30 cal? If the answer is no, then I would say no. Right? If you don't shoot any 300 blackout, you don't shoot any 300 308, nothing like that, then I don't really see a purpose to it, you know? Because again, if you're not going to actually use it for something that it's designed for, then you're just kind of throwing money away. And again, even when it comes to like 308 and 6.5 Creedmoor, which I want to get into shooting again this year, I do want to get a flow-through 30 cal can because I would like to be able to shoot large frame guns without, you know, accelerating the bolt velocity to, you know, plaid. Thank you, Zanico. BCS 1488 for 5 says Christ is risen and Christ is king. Lots of work ahead of us, but in the end, he is the victor. True. Thank you very much, BCS 1488. Appreciate that. Hope you're having a good Friday out there. Moonman for $20. That was very loud on my speakers. Richard, ignore Chud. That thing I made you. All right, and we got a couple more over here on Ko-Fi. It's a Friday night, guys. You guys are supposed to be out enjoying your life, not throwing money at me and Richard. Jeez, unbelievable. Waifus Enslaved, Jimmy's Unrustled for 10 on Ko-Fi says, I had to watch an anti-Semitism commercial to see the stream. Anyway, pee-poo, pee-pee, poo-poo. True. Yeah, that's actually, so I'm in league with the ADL, you see. So I propagate a lot of anti-Semitism on the stream so that all the anti-Semites watch the stream so that they can be fed anti-Semitism ads so that we can convert you, right? That's how it works. So I get all the anti-Semites together. We feed you anti-Semitic ads to convert you. I think that works. I think that's kosher.
Blue squares in chat.
Yeah, blue squares in chat. Lights 4, raped Sonny to death for 3 says, maybe it's a bad way to look at it, but I'm hoping that God forbid we don't recover the weapons officer that he passed quickly and didn't get captured. I don't want to think about that possibility. Well, the odds are actually, if he got captured, he would probably be treated fairly well. You know, this isn't the IDF here, you know, torturing 1-year-olds, burning 1-year-olds, putting nails inside of 1-year-old. He would probably be treated fairly well because he is a huge bargaining piece for the Iranian regime, literally. Now, my intuition in this, which is not worth anything, this is pure speculation on my part, would be that he died. And that's why he was not able to be recovered. Because they already recovered the pilot. They both eject. I mean, honestly, I don't even know if he ejected, because if the plane got hit that hard and the weapons officer is sitting behind the pilot, if it got hit in the back and the weapons officer did not make it off the plane, right? So I imagine he's dead. Subarctic Noticer for 3 says, I just bought a Keltec P17 from my favorite LGS. Ordered the threaded barrel adapter to put my suppressor on it. Sushi date with the missus tonight based. Maybe rip some booger sugar to commemorate the Keltec 2. Christ is King. On Good Friday and booger sugar, like that's not how you honor our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Okay, put the booger sugar off. Okay, lay it down. You don't need that right now. Okay, you're having a good night with the wife. You know, had some sushi, which is like, okay, you know, whatever. But yeah, just lay off the booger sugar, okay, dog?
Hey, maybe
at least
every
for one
Friday
day.
is good at Keltec.
No
Friday's payday.
Waifu's Enslaved, Jimmy's Unrustled for 5 says, chaining up Badlands Baddie Station wood to my reloading bench in the basement to capitalize on the ammo shortage. Okay. The Subarctic Noticer for 10 says, I'm in a lot of pain at the moment, possibly kidney stones. I'm very sorry to hear that, Mr. Psycho. I'm praying for you. That's listen, kidney stones, not great. Not a great time. Nothing compared to what Christ suffered to redeem our sins. True. Megabase. Yes, we will pray for you, though, as well, because kidney stones are not fun. But it is good to know that on Good Friday, there is someone who suffered more and paid it all for you. Mike Moretti for 5 on Ko-Fi says, I rock the Polo K on a Daniel Defense 11.5, but it's direct threaded and tuned with a Springco Blue and H3. That's the combo, right? Just what's the heaviest buffer I can put in my buffer tube? It's a great combo, but I understand the want for ultimate flow through plug and play. It's a shame the industry is so slimy about trying to sell that idea. Yeah, and it's like, if you want to, because I have used high back pressure cans for years exclusively, and you always just tune around it. But when you just put on a suppressor on the gun and you don't change anything, kind of nice. And you still get less gas back to the face than when you're doing like H3 buffers and A5 systems and rifle buffers and adjustable gas blocks. You still get less gas to the face, which is nice. All right, let's see. Where the heck was I? Okay. Thank you for hanging out, for being so generous, ladies and gents. A fine zany through an N5 says, of course I use 30 cal. I'm a gentleman. Well, if you use it and you like the sound suppression, the characteristics, the size, the weight, all that sort of fun stuff, then yeah, why not? Sounds like a good price to me. Thank you, Zany. Appreciate that. All right. Let's see here. Breaking the First Circuit just set the Second Amendment back decades in Beckwith v. Frey. Whoa, the Frey. In a shocking move, they claimed that purchasing or acquiring a firearm isn't actually covered by the plain text of the Second Amendment. Let me click on this opinion here so that we can see what this nonsense is about. Where is the actual opinion? So this is an appeal, preliminary injunction. Well, actually, hold 1 second. Let me see real fast. No, that's not what I want. I want to see if I can just skip to the good part, please. Of course, it's not actually going to allow me to search the page because you're so obnoxious. All right. I want to see the actual quote, though. Okay. Well, we might have to do a bit of reading here then. Tragic. We actually have to use our brains for a moment. Oh, well, so this is an appeal, 72-hour period, blah, 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 cooling off period was to decrease suicides and homicides after carrying opponents from individuals, businesses sued the Maine Attorney General under the Act, blah, 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 blah. 28, Article C, likely unconstitutional, we vague injunction regime for the process. Where the heck is it? Okay. Okay. Second Amendment rights, facially applied. Plaintiff sought preliminary injunction. Ah. Mm-hmm. Moving right along. So surprisingly, how to approach Second Amendment challenges. And the rest of this is nothing. Okay. Here we go. There it is. Okay, page 17. Sorry, it took me a moment to find it. We agree with the Attorney General's view that laws regulating the purchase or acquisition of firearms do not target conduct covered by the Second Amendment's plain text. So they agree with the Attorney General's view that buying a gun is not protected under the Second Amendment and under a clear reading, under the plain text, as it were, right? The perspicuity of the Second Amendment, as it were, which is an interesting one. So yeah, you can like own guns. That's covered under the Second Amendment in some way, shape, or form, even though they'll be rather nebulous about what that means, right? That's kind of in flux. It's on a spectrum with a lot of these guys. However, buying a gun, well, that's actually not protected. So you actually don't have a legal right to buy a gun. To own a gun, yes, but buying a gun, no. Huh. Interesting. Well, what's that?
This is a retarded take.
Correct. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate that. I agree with you wholeheartedly. They continue with their retarded take. The amendment's plan text guarantees an individual's ability to keep and bear arms, which means to have and to carry guns. The act does not address this conduct. Rather, the act imposes a limitation in some circumstances on whether a person can acquire a firearm after the person has purchased it. So listen, it's like, yes, of course you can have a gun, you can bear guns. That's all within the Second Amendment, but it's not implicit within all of those very obvious things that you can buy one. It's like, how do I acquire? How do I keep and bear without buying? Right?
Moonman's got it.
Do guns just appear? Are they arguing for state mandated like free healthcare? We have free gun care where you turn 18 and we just, we give you a firearm. Like, what are we saying here?
Oh, just do what Moonman's doing. Just steal them.
Well, it's like there was one judge who was like, if your wife has a child, no matter who the father is, the husband is responsible for the child, right? That's what he argued. And then the classic response to that is just to say, well, okay, well, I'm going to get that judge's wife pregnant. Like, it's your responsibility, sir, not mine. I mean, that's kind of what this is. It is ridiculous to say that buying a firearm is not implicitly outlined within the Second Amendment, within the plain text.
Was that judge named Mike?
I don't want to scroll back up and find it because I'm going to miss it, okay?
Okay.
Beckwith, East County School of Safety, Nancy, James White. James taking L's here every day. Well, actually, it's really they're on the, I suppose maybe they're on the good side, even though they're safety guys, which seems weird. And then Aaron Frey is the Attorney General of Maine. And Han Lance E is the district judge before circuit judges. Yeah. So yeah, no clear right to buy a gun to acquire a firearm under the Second Amendment. Are you happy yet? Are you winning yet, son? Are you tired of winning? Well, listen, if you have a gun that can hold 50 clips a second, or whatever that saying is. But no, yeah, of course, making a gun has always been protected under the Second Amendment since the beginning of the country. But again, saying that you have no right to buy one, which essentially means that they can restrict the right to buy. And if they can do that, then you never have access to a firearm. So they're trying to just cut the whole thing off in a way where it just, well, if they're never able to buy a gun in the first place, then You can still have the Second Amendment, but give it a couple generations and no one owns guns, which is what they've been trying to do. Make it more difficult for people to, like grandfather clauses, right? So like in Washington, they were like, oh, well, we're taking all your guns, but you can keep yours, but your children can't buy the same ones that you just had. Same thing that they did in California that they're trying to pass in like Oregon and other places. So you have grandfather clauses that allow you to keep it, but then they remove that rights from your entire generation. And yeah, well, Tom, here's the thing. Okay, if you look at patterns, noticing, it's like women just vote wrong in every single way possible, unless it's white women who are married to their husbands. That's it. That's the only group that does not cringe, and it's literally because they vote with their husbands. Now, speaking of incompetence, and maybe women, we're not entirely sure how the two are related yet, but the machine gun was shipped through USPS. The Postal Service is not supposed to handle firearms or ammunition. Usually, that's usually a no-no. However, they did lose a machine gun, and you'll never guess who stole it or what type of individual stole it. A missing machine gun last tracked to a USPS facility in Detroit. Huh. Shocking.
In the mail, one machine gun bound for Florida. It seems to have disappeared here in Detroit. So how did the post office lose
$20,000 because it was an actual, form or class 3 transferable, right? For a real machine gun. Ooh,
back
dude.
of something like this? Tonight, the investigators at Local 4 are pushing for answers. And thanks for being with us for Local 4 News at 6. I'm Damon Fernandez.
Good evening. I'm Karen Drew. So we got that tip. It was just a few days ago to our help desk, and our investigative team jumped on it. So I want to show you, this is the gun that we're talking about. It is an original Israeli 9mm Uzi submachine gun. But let me take it.
It's a terrible gun. It's cool because of like 80s nostalgia, or maybe some video games it was cool in, like, Modern Warfare 2 Akimbo or something like that. But they're terrible firearms, dude. And the only reason they have any value in the modern landscape is the fact that there's a bunch of actual transferable machine guns and that people like retro vibes. But I mean, it's a terrible gun. It's a terrible system.
But let me take it to the backstory. So this is the deal. A firearms dealer in Ohio, Steve Thompson, tells us he mailed that gun to a purchaser in Florida. Only problem, it never arrived in Florida.
Wait. Okay, so that's the funny thing about transferables, because Florida famously, you cannot have a binary trigger or an FRT trigger.
Correct.
But you can have a class 3 machine gun, though. Okay.
Correct.
Of course.
I'm also not good with maps, but I think Florida is south of Ohio, not north.
Yeah, but we're talking about USPS here, okay? So when it gets there, it gets there. What route it takes to get there, I don't know.
It ended up right here at a USPS postal facility.
Well, so I usually I use UPS. Actually, it's really fun. There's a service called Ship My Gun. It's literally called Ship My Gun. I use that almost every single time I have to ship something. Ship My Gun. It's insured. It's super cheap. It works. Like I can ship a rifle for like $30. It's very, very convenient. Ship My Gun. Use Ship My Gun. I don't even have a code for them, but I'll show them for free because it's a good service. I use it all the time.
There was one time where I dealt with a warranty return, and one time I dealt with an incorrect firearm being shipped to me. Both times they told me to put it in a prepaid, if it fits at ships box, and they sent me a return label and told me to drop it in the post office.
Ooh, no, you're not supposed to do the post office.
Guess who one of the ones that did it?
Who? CSA? Oh, SIG. That's funny. Yeah, no, I never do that. You don't even have to declare it. Okay. You just box it up and ship it. That's it.
The warranty return from SIG came back to my doorstep.
They can do that once, because if it's a warranty product, it's already yours. You're just transferring it to an FFL, and then they're transferring it back to you. So that's actually
they didn't even have me sign for it. It was sitting on my door when I got home.
Well, I mean, you're using USPS though, so it probably was not supposed to go that way anyways.
right in Detroit.
It's not just a regular gun. It's a government registered machine gun.
Steve Thompson shipped this $25,000 gun through USPS registered mail. It was back in February. The receipt shows he insured it for $20,000.
What did he pay for the? He paid $85, $80 for the shipping for the insurance on that. It's not terrible. Not terrible.
Then
for 20 grand.
The package.
Hey, at least he's gonna get his money, right? Because if they can't find it, he gets 20 grand back. So that's not the worst thing out there.
Doesn't he have to give it back to the guy in Florida though?
Probably. I mean, but everybody gets their money back though, right? So at least it's not like you're $25,000 in the hole.
Through the USPS website as it left Ohio and then went to Michigan.
Well, the label was 33, so it's an $81 charge for the postage or for the insurance. Sorry.
Question.
Look,
since it's transferable and it crossed state lines and it was picked up in the commission of a crime, if they recover it, what will happen to it? Will it go back to its original owner? Will it go on to the buyer in Florida, or will it sit in an evidence locker in perpetuity until it gets shredded?
Probably the latter, because it's the U.S. government, right? So if it gets used in a crime or picked up somewhere, it's going to be evidence forever, and then somebody's going to have to continually call and file and beg and plead to actually get that gun delivered to its rightful owner, and then it'll have to be reshipped to the transferee. That would be my guess. Yeah, back to the original owner, and then then you can ship it back to the transferee eventually.
On February 5th, the gun was in Pontiac, and then nearly 6 hours later, it was moved to Detroit. It was listed as processing at the Detroit Distribution Center on February 6th. It was 12:20 in the morning. And then, suddenly, nobody knew where it was. It's almost like it vanished.
Clearly somebody in the Detroit plant.
And I hate that too, because to me, at least from a value perspective, if a gangbanger is going to gangbang, do it with a $20 Alibaba switch, okay? On your P80 Glock 26. I don't care, dude. But don't steal a class 3, fire. If you're gonna shoot a random bystander accidentally, it shouldn't be with a class 3 transferable. It should be with an 80% frame and a Temu switch. That's what it should be done with, not a class 3. I mean, come on.
So Apple AirTags are a whole $25.
That could have been interesting too, to do it that way. Yeah. But I mean, most people aren't thinking oh, somebody in Detroit's going to steal my package, because they don't know. When you think about it, how many people touch your packages, right?
Crazy.
Yeah, and then it's well, it's $20,000, so maybe I should go through an extra couple steps to make sure it gets where it's supposed to go.
Knows what happened, and there's got to be some finger pointing. Nobody's admitting anything.
So Steve filed a missing mail request 8 days later, even reported the gun missing to the ATF. Then
8 days? Dude, I would have been on that way earlier. I'd be like, excuse me, my $25,000 fully automatic machine gun, class 3 transferable, is not moving.
USPS was telling him, well, we have to go through the proper channels, because they did that to me with a $600 scope.
Nobody touches your package. Yeah, sad day, Doc. Mr. 9x19 says, how does 6K firearm go missing in transit? The one time contacting the ATF did something useful. Yeah.
He filed an insurance claim with USPS. Remember, that gun was sent registered mail. His claim was denied. He appealed.
Excuse me? No, I do not have my $20,000 product that's insured. You will surely not deny my claim.
It was denied again. It took another appeal to get approved, but Steve says USPS wasn't contacting him.
So the investigators started asking questions, and then
Okay, sometimes you name somebody something and then they end up just being that thing. It's you name your kid Kyle and they end up being a Kyle. You know what I'm saying? There's just that stereotype. Now, I'm sure this lady's a wonderful person, of course, but it's just, serendipity that her name is Karen, and then she also has the Karen haircut.
USPS did contact Steve. He's
Hmm?
I bet she was born and her parents saw the haircut and said, well, we need to name her Karen.
She was born with the haircut. You merely adopted the persona.
Under the understanding that he's going to get that $20,000 for his claim. But still, the question is, where is this machine gun?
If it turns up at a shooting somewhere in Detroit in a couple of weeks, that's kind of what I'm trying to avoid here.
And that's what he's so worried about, and that's why he contacted us. He wants answers, and of course, so do we. We did reach out multiple times.
Around the Fire says we had FedEx leave a $125,000 machine gun and 3 cases of ammo in a public breezeway when we were closed, and they signed for us, lol. Yeah, I've had UPS do things with night vision I would prefer them not to do. You know, it's like leave packages out in the rain. Like, I really would like you not to do that, please. Please no. Please no, thank you.
To the United States Postal Service. We contacted on Friday and still do not have a statement from them. We will stay on top of this. And by the way, for those of you saying, hey, can you actually mail a gun through the USPS? We looked it up. The answer is yes, though there are some strict regulations.
So I never use USPS for guns. I know you're not supposed to ship ammo with them. So I always just never ship with them. I just use UPS or FedEx. And I don't know what the advantage would be through going through USPS.
And you cannot mail ammunition.
Yeah,
artificial intelligence.
That's one. No, I don't care about artificial intelligence. Thank you, Local 4 Live. So, yeah, moral of the story, don't ship guns through Detroit if at all possible, and try to avoid USPS at all costs. Well, at least when shipping firearms. Now, what's funny here is we go from, you know, a Israeli Uzi for $25,000 to a little bit of Israeli kvetching with our very own, our beloved Rabbi Shmuley, okay? Shabbat Shalom, Mr. Shmuley. And this is just one of those instances where you see somebody who, again, we're talking about a little bit of physiognomy here, and it just always checks out. Just always seems to check out.
Hey, get Rabbi in it. Get Rabbi.
Okay, so Rabbi Shmuley gets spotted out in public by this young, evil anti-Semite. And I do have to be clear here to my chat. I completely disavow harassing these types of people in public. Don't do that. That would violate YouTube's TOS. However, you know, hilarity does ensue.
Rabbi Shmuley is a Zionist fucking pig. Get this. Here he is, right on camera.
He's also very small.
I have no
focus for 1 second. Jeez Louise, phone camera. Very, very small. He's got the moobs going on. He's got the physique. His head's like, you know, doing the leaning forward thing a little bit. It's got the vibe going on, okay?
No problem saying it. Rabbi Shmuley. Say your name. I'm Salvo, baby. I have no problem saying it.
What's your phone number?
So if you're not familiar with Rabbi Shmuley, he somehow is in everybody's ear for the last, like, 30 plus years. He was involved in the Michael Jackson trial, right? The pedo trial accusing Michael of being a pedo. He was involved in that. He also runs the company called Kosher Sex that sells sex toys with his daughter. Yes, you heard me right. Rabbi
On
Shmuley.
brand.
What's that?
On brand.
Yes, of course, with his daughter, sells sex toys. So he's a bit of a degen. However, he is a rabbi, so it's very strange. I thought these were our heckin' allies and heckin' so conservative and based.
Why would I give a Zionist?
Say it all.
Zionist pig, relax. Why would I give a Zionist? Why would I give?
And then he immediately runs to a police officer to try and get this guy arrested. Kyle, as soon as I mention anything about Kyle, he just appears. You know, it's like that scene in Jurassic Park where you're looking at the water cup and then you can see the vibrations. That's Kyle showing up. But hey, hope you're doing well out there, man. Hope you're having a good Friday. Anyways, speaking about Rabbi Shmuley, who's more my size, you know, he gets confronted in public, which is, you know, it's not nice to do. You know, the rules around decorum in public and whatnot, you probably shouldn't just go up to somebody and start yelling at them. It's not super nice to do. However, not really a crime unless it breaches, certain thresholds of harassment or intimidation or something physical in this way. But, if somebody's on a public street, you're on a public street, you want to call them a couple names, it's reasonable.
Relax. Why would I give it? Why would I give?
Excuse me, officer. This man is attacking me.
I have it on video.
Right now.
This man is attacking me. That's really, and also it's famously unathletic people. Famously unathletic people.
Excuse me, officer. This man is attacking me.
I have it on video.
Right now.
I have it on video.
I have it on video.
I have it on video.
It's a hate crime. He's threatening me.
I called him a Zionist. I didn't touch.
It's a hate crime, and he's threatening me. And again, Rabbi Shmuley is a Zionist. Like by his own definition, he would be a Zionist. Like he's threatening me. He's attacking me. He's threatening me. He's gonna kill me. Like heckin' police officer, please throw him in jail, please.
Excuse me, officer. This man is attacking me.
I have it on video.
Right now.
I have it on video.
I have it on video.
I have it on video.
It's a hate crime. He's threatening me.
I called him a Zionist. I didn't touch him.
He came over to me and I filmed the whole thing.
I have it on video. I just talked to him. I didn't touch
threatening
him.
my life.
No, I didn't.
He has to be arrested, please.
I have it on video.
Please, he has to be arrested.
They know who you are, bro.
Please, sir, he has to be arrested.
Arrest this man. He threatened my life. I don't think that happened. I watched the tape back, and surprise, surprise. It's another Holocaust. Oh no, this man tried to turn me into soap.
Rabbi Shmuley, what happened to dialogue? What happened to dialogue, Rabbi Shmuley? Is this your husband? You let him in the street acting such a fool every time, huh?
Debbie, bring it here. This is what happened to me at the Fontainebleau Hotel. I won't put up with it.
Rabbi
This
Shmuley,
man
why are
is
you
threatening
lying?
me. He is harassing
Rabbi
me.
Shmuley,
He's
why are
guilty
you
of a
lying?
hate crime. And now let's keep the NYPD.
He's
Rabbi
guilty of
Shmuley.
a hate crime. Okay,
I have it on
buddy.
video right here.
I was doing a video about this is about anti-Semitism.
I'm doing a
display.
video
We're in the middle
too.
of an intermission. This man came over,
I was at the play
attacked
too.
me, harassed me. He already called us fucking Jews upstairs. I have a woman who
No, I
witnessed
didn't.
it.
No,
You
I didn't.
called
I'm
us
with my-
fucking Jews
I'm
as
with
you
my
left,
wife over there.
and he just attacked me.
I didn't
My name is
have it
Rabbi
on
Shmuley Boteches. He will tell you.
They know who you are, Rabbi Shmuley. They know who you are, Rabbi Shmuley. You're making
He
a
attacked me, and this is a hate crime.
you're making a scene, Rabbi
He
Shmuley.
attacked me, and this is a hate crime. Now, why did you walk over to me? Tell him.
Honestly, the police officer just seems annoyed, right? Because he's got to manage the collapse of society, right? He's here. He's like, what is this Spurg talking about? Hate crime, attacked, threatening to get killed. He doesn't look like he's very attacked. He just seems like a very small, obnoxious, feminine man. Why is this goblin talking to me? Why is this goblin flagging me down in the middle of the road? I'll have you know that this is New York, okay? I have 98% of gun violence in New York is done by black people. I'll have you know, I have real crimes to get after here, Mr. Shmuley.
Why did you walk over to me? What did you say? Why did you
Yes,
walk
sir.
over to me? What did you say?
I said you're a Zionist.
No, you said I'm an effing Zionist. You started attacking.
I'm allowed to swear at
my
you.
Safety.
No, I
You are
didn't.
threatening my safety.
No, I didn't.
You invaded my personal space to harm me.
I'm allowed to say that. I'm allowed to say he's a Zionist pig. I'm allowed to say he's a Zionist.
Yeah, but that could be your personal opinion that he is a Zionist pig. And again, it's like it's like if somebody came up to me and was like, "John, you white person," I'd be like, "Oh, thank you." Thanks for I'm white passing, so I'm making it. I'm close enough, as the kids say. I'd be like, oh, thank you, I appreciate that. But if you call a Jew, it's always like this really negative context for some reason. Calling me a Zionist is like a really negative context for some reason. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why that is. It's like it's a slur to them. Yeah, thanks for noticing. Finally, somebody's called me white. Jeez.
Why do you escalate, Rabbi Shmuley? Why do you escalate? Why do you escalate, Rabbi Shmuley?
Officer, Jews have to be safe in New York City.
Sir, I have freedom of speech. Sir.
Jews cannot be attacked because they weren't people. If someone's black and they're attacked, that's racist.
Rabbi Shmuley completely losing his mind.
And again, it's always the white
Always a
supremacists
Latina.
that look the most. Is he Sicilian, or like what are we thinking here? Are we is he just
Sicilian and Puerto Rican, maybe?
yeah, so there's something going on. And again, this is the savior of the white race right here. I might be more white than this guy. Tragic.
Losing his mind. It's freedom of speech. It's freedom of speech. I can call him a Zionist. I can call him a Zionist. It's freedom of speech. We're not in Israel.
Groip points, yeah, dude. That's true.
I know.
We do need there's a Groiper phenotype, that not in all cases, but it does tend to hold true that they're a little bit browner. They're a little bit browner than you think they're going to be. Mediterranean, yeah, something in there.
I was at the play too with my wife. I know who he is. He's a Zionist. I saw he was filming a video saying, in my opinion, a bunch of hateful things, right?
But
So
was that video being taken?
just right here.
To you or like?
No, his wife was filming him, and I just went up and filmed him and they called him a Zionist, and that's when he ran to you guys right away. And I can show you.
Yeah, let's see what you got.
And that's when he ends the video and shows it to the police officer. Now, hopefully that guy did not get, arrested for this because, again, sure, it's like kind of a dick walking up to Rabbi Shmuley. And honestly, I wouldn't walk up to Rabbi Shmuley purely because of the smell and of the chance of like lightning striking him at any point in time. I would just not want to be anywhere near the guy. Diseases and other things aside from his kosher sex toys that he sells again and promotes with his daughter. Not my thing, right? Not my thing. He's got that certain phenotype. It's just funny seeing it in context, him recoil and being like, this guy attacked me. He threatened to kill me, officer. Officer, he threatened to kill me. He called me a Jew. He called me a Zionist Jew. He gonna kill me, officer. I need your help, officer. I'm about to die, officer. It's another Holocaust. And then the officer's just like, it's that Ben Affleck meme where he's got the cigarette and he's like, not these guys again. The officer's probably like, listen, at least the guy didn't come out of a manhole cover, right? At least I'm not having to go down in the sewers like last time. Okay, I had to clean up the tunnels and the blood and the feces down there. It was not a good time. So at least they're above ground this time. Jeez. Yeah, last time I was this early to a Rabbi Shmuley concert, it was underground. He was a very underground band back in the day.
I do appreciate how Shmuley is crying out that he's in danger, he's been threatened, and then he proceeds to walk towards the threat repeatedly.
Well, but he demands that he be arrested. This man must be arrested. And just look at what these people like actually wish upon you, right? They want you to actually be arrested. They want you to actually be removed from public for making their life mildly uncomfortable. Now, the reason why I don't have any sympathy whatsoever is because Rabbi Shmuley will be one of those type of guys who says, no more white safety or no more white comfort. We need to make white people feel uncomfortable. When BLM and the Summer of Love and all that stuff was kicking off, it was like, we need to make sure that white people know that they're no longer privileged in society and that we need to make them feel uncomfortable in public spaces. We need to make sure that white people don't feel safe the same way that browns feel unsafe in America. So it's like, if that's the level of rhetoric that you're using to make white people feel unsafe, to prop up attacks on white people, then I can't really get mad or even upset or come to your defense when people are like generically mean to you in public. It's like, yeah, but you advocate for people being mean to my side, for my people. So it's like, sorry, little man, I don't really care about your problems. In a civilized society where 95% of our problems are solved, in general, you shouldn't go run up to somebody you disagree with in public and start accosting them. In general, there are always exceptions to the rule, but yeah, we're not at that point. And if you want to set the rhetoric, if you want to turn that dial up, well, then you just kind of have to deal with your own consequences. Okay. Now, speaking of consequences and getting into, I don't even know. Now, this is gross, right? Rabbi Shmuley is gross in one way, but how about gross incompetence to the level that a perp is detained inside of a police cruiser for 3 days where he dies from lack of food, water, and exposure, and police just leave him in the back of a cruiser for 3 days until he dies? That's a little awkward, a little oopsie. Let's let this play out here.
For sure?
For sure.
What's his name?
Eric Valencia.
The 23rd, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He looks like he's decomposing.
Where is it?
On the back of the unit right here.
Back to this one?
Yes, the back seat.
Okay, interesting. So I had misinterpreted this story. I thought he was like locked in the back, but it turns out he got himself in there, which is that's still a bad way to go, I guess. But yeah, so a 37-year-old man, Eric Valencia. Now I know some people were saying like, hey, he's he's not very white. I'm not that interested. But it's like, hey, he's as white as the other guy we just looked at, who was defending the white race. Okay, so cut him some slack. That was found dead in the backseat of an out-of-service Azusa Police Department SUV on March 26, 3 days after he was released from custody. Surveillance videos show Valencia leaving the station on March 23rd, walking around the outside, then getting into the rear of patrol car number 37, which police say had been unlocked for maintenance. He was not discovered until a police employee moved the vehicle for a car wash. Police say Valencia had a working cell phone with him, and there were no outgoing 911 calls. The back doors of the patrol vehicles typically cannot be opened from the inside, and the exact cause of death is still unknown, pending the medical examiner's findings. Valencia's family says they had reported him missing and are demanding answers about how he could remain in a police vehicle outside the station for days without being found. The Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office, the medical examiner, and independent investigative firm are now involved. Now, what is interesting to me about this, imagine this situation where, let's say it's like this is a horror movie Final Destination scenario, okay, where you get arrested for some crime because you do something silly, and then you're like trying to break into a police car for some reason. You accidentally lock yourself in the back, and all you have is your phone, but your phone is dead. So imagine that scenario where your phone is dead and you're trapped in the back of a police cruiser, and just nobody comes to find you for a couple days, and it gets really cold or it gets really hot. And yeah, now it could be as simple as an OD, but why would you go into the back of a police cruiser to OD? Are you just trying to make it easier for them to put you back in jail? Like, it's very
George
weird.
Floyd tried.
Well, he specifically requested to get out of that vehicle, by the way. Kick a window out. Well, yeah, that's the thing, right? It's like, if he was trying to get out, yes, kick out a window, try and do something. Like, I imagine police cruisers are not super easy, like, especially if they're like designed to hold somebody on the inside. I imagine it's not super easy to get out of, but where there's a will, there's a way, I would imagine, right? Or at least, open the door enough or get enough of a break in the window to where you could, call for help or something, surely. Well, yeah, but even if it's gotta be something you could do. But I mean, think about that though. The horror of spending like the last 2 days of your life kicking at a door or kicking at a window to no success, and then eventually dying of, again, exposure, lack of water, whatever it might be.
You kick a car door far or hard enough, eventually you can kick the fucking panel off.
Well, unless he OD'd, but again, it seems strange to climb into the back of a police car to OD. Unless maybe he got so high that he then just...
That's probably what it was.
Death by child locks?
Yeah, imagine the irony of that. Child safety locks. Killing a 37-year-old
Sounds
man.
like the backseat worked as intended. Yeah. Yeah, that's awkward. Here, let's see. So... according to the Los Angeles Times, Valencia was initially pulled over for driving without headlights on, and police suspected he was under the influence based on signs of watery, bloodshot eyes and the smell of alcohol in the car. You don't say. 2 children aged 13 and 11 were in the car with Valencia. Wendrick added Valencia had blood alcohol level twice the legal limit, and he was driving with 2 kids, 3 and 11. So not a great dad, but I would prefer him to be in rehab so that he can be in his children's lives rather than be dead. Valencia was freed on March 23rd and given his property, cell phone, and food. According to Wenrick, his body was found inside the unlocked SUV 3 days later. When Wenrick told the fleet maintenance crew to take the patrol car to get washed, Valencia's cell phone was found in working order. Okay, so I imagine that means battery on, like cell phone turned on. And he never called for 911 for help, according to Wenrick. Officials explained the out-of-state service vehicles are often parked for days or weeks while awaiting equipment installation. Typically, law enforcement vehicles cannot be unlocked from the back seats. So he gets released. walks outside and immediately finds an unlocked car. Like, how could he even OD if it was 3 days later?
Well, so if he was taken in and the
When was he
intake
taken
didn't
in?
go over,
Yeah, so he was arrested on March 20th, released on March 23rd, then found on the 26th, right?
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, so 3 days later, which would be on the 26th. So he was still high or managed to OD?
He may have. So I've this happened before. Same way that drugs get into jails, the intake officers do not do a thorough enough search or a thorough enough pat down. They slip stuff through and either get it into Gen Pop or still have it on them once they're released. If he was arrested on a Friday, he would have stayed through and then been released on a Monday. What I don't understand is why he climbed into the car in the first place.
Well,
I
what
do not
maybe
get that.
let me see if I can theorize something here. So maybe he got arrested, had something on him. The cops didn't find it, and he hid it in the police cruiser. So then he climbs back into the police cruiser to find the drugs or something that he left there when he got arrested.
That could very well be. Now, usually that's a dumb thing to do because they search their car after they drop someone off at
Well,
intake.
they should, right? But if he's like, oh shoot, if they find this, I'm going to get incriminated on even more or something like that. But it doesn't make sense to me to be in jail for 3 days, get out of jail, and then immediately go die in the back of a police cruiser. It's like, seems strange unless he was looking for something he had left behind or he was high out of his mind. But how would he be high out of his mind while being in police custody for 3 days? Is that?
I mean, there's plenty of drugs in jail.
I guess, yeah. Maybe I'm trying to logic too hard where there is no logical.
I think you're trying to look at this through a lens of there are no drugs in jail.
Well, but even if there is drugs in jail, like there's druggies all the time that don't climb into the back of police cruisers and then don't make phone calls. Because like, let's say, like he had to have died like almost on the spot because if he had like taken a nap and woken up or had any sense or clarity at any point in time, he could just literally use the phone that was allegedly in working order, right?
Yeah, I mean, unless he was snorting lines off of it or something, I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know, who knows? Lots of theories in chat. You could all be correct. Wild story, though. Now, let's take a bit of a change of pace to a safari, shall we? This is a teen takeover. A teen Now that is it reminds me a lot of Planet of the Apes, the like 2008 Planet of the Apes with James Franco, right? When they get out of the zoo and they're just running down the street and they're going on top of the cars and they're trying to get to the Golden Gate Bridge, right? It's the very similar scene. And now you'll notice a lot of them as they're running on top of the hoods and breaking glass and smashing cars. And there's one man who's stopping them from getting on his car. There's no reason for them to be up there other than to just destroy property, right? They don't care. They don't care about these people, their lives, the people that actually have to, work and to support their lifestyle. It's like a horde. It's like a mass, it's a once there's a mob out there, they stop being an individual, right? You can always reason with, well, most of the time, with like an individual. You can have a conversation with an individual. You can't have that sort of thing with a mob, and that's almost always what this ends up being. This nightmarish. Oh, oops. Chubby almost lost it there. Sorry, lady. Can't handle her liquor. Probably shouldn't be out. Probably should be on a treadmill though. So good on her for going on a walk. But yeah. Nah, kid won't do nothing, man. Can't have fun these days. We got no community center. That's right. That's what they said last week. We ain't got no community center. We got to take up the streets here. You can't even, we don't got no community center. We got to take out over the streets here, man. Now, in a similar vibe, similar people, we have French police doing what they do best, which is surrendering. So this is police cars fleeing a Muslim-infested neighborhood in Paris. Law and order under pressure. You could say that. Let me rewind it here for you guys.
Folie. C'est la folie. Regardez comment ils vont casser les voitures des policiers. Le jour de l'Aïd, wesh. Non, c'est pas bon.
So it looks like they are throwing metal pipes like spears. Some would say it's in their nature, blood memory, if you will. Trying to spear the wild buffalo or the wild elephant or whatnot. In this case, it's a French police cruiser, but they're trying to spear the French officers who decide it is the, discretion is the better part of valor, and they tend to flee the circumstance. And we're, similar scenes, similar people here, and we're gonna see this happen in the United States as well. Now, it'll be in a much longer time frame because I'm pretty sure a lot of American cops would just kill them, whereas French cops may not have the same options that we do, though. So, I mean, just look at these officers running from a mob of like 50 people, right? They have no chance of actually winning the fight. I don't think they have guns. Maybe they have tasers, Maybe they have tasers.
Nos voitures, Alima. Nos voitures.
That officer tried to get the guy.
Ta voiture, elle est où?
Got him.
La police sait pas.
Oh, how the turns have tabled.
Yeah, but again, I would run. Again, they're trying to spear the car. If one of them gets a metal pipe through my window, that could kill me. Like getting hit in the head with a thrown metal pipe or whatever that weapon, spear chuckers, was. I mean, just look at this mob. If you see this mob coming at me, even if I'm carrying, my Glock 17 and an extra mag, I can't take these guys. My best hope is that they disperse after I begin defending myself in public. But if they don't stop, then I can't actually do anything against these people. And you take away the guns from the situation, and your only option is to get into your vehicle and run. Like, that's really it. You can't stay there, because if you do stay there, you're going to get overwhelmed. They're going to break your windows and they're going to kill you.
Yep.
C'est la folie.
Say it.
The school zone pedals on the left, the no-go zone pedals on the right.
Right. Well, yeah, patrol rifle, of course. Like, we would hope that we would have that. But like even 10 of them, like 5, 6 of them on your car with metal pipes, like, I don't want to take those odds. Even inside of a vehicle, I don't want to take those odds.
And it's usually the other way around. I do appreciate that the French are swapping shoes for once.
Yeah. I mean, it's in their nature to surrender. It just happens now that their enemies are much more brown than they used to be. But Paris, not looking so good. Anybody looking to vacation anytime soon? Anybody like, I'm really interested in taking a trip to Paris. Now, it's not just Paris that's looking bad. We also have a Sikh gentleman, Muhammad from Pakistan, attempted to rape a 13-year-old British girl. He defends himself, saying, "I couldn't control myself. She is very attractive. I was overwhelmed." Now, listen, we don't do or this is very progressive coded of me, but I don't think we should be blaming 13-year-old girls for the actions of adult men. Maybe that's too progressive of me. And again, I'm not a Muslim, so I don't, know maybe the context for them is a little bit different. But I don't think that we should hold 13-year-old children responsible for what, when you say, when you're talking about a 13-year-old girl and you're like, okay, but what was she wearing? Okay. Maybe a little bit of progressive politics every now and again. Maybe that's as progressive as John gets. Okay. 13-year-old girls are still off limits. Okay, Muhammad. It's ironic that he's named Muhammad, of course, because 13 would be a little spoiled for the actual Muhammad.
Couldn't control myself.
You couldn't control yourself. Right, okay. What was it that you couldn't control?
Couldn't control myself.
You couldn't control yourself. Right, okay. What was it that you couldn't control?
Muscle.
Yeah, but what about yourself?
Overwhelmed.
Yeah, but what was overwhelming? What about this child was overwhelming? What about this child was so strong that you couldn't control it?
Got too attractive.
She was too attractive. Okay. Okay. So
I wish you a very merry brick to the back of the head. That would be great. I don't think you need to exist here anymore. Now we know that, listen, this is the face of new neighbors in British. Okay, these are the new British. All right, that we have let 3 to 5 million over the last few years into your country, which again, British has or England or UK has a population of 90 million people. So 5 million for them is a rather large chunk of their population that has been replaced. In a lot of words, nothing going on behind the eyes. You know, you can't resist a 13-year-old British girl. Well, hopefully you can't resist this 9mm to the back of the cranium. Okay, Chud, I've seen enough. 7 million more. Yes, our British allies are getting browner by the day. Browner by the day. And well, it's not just okay. Maybe British blacks and Muslims are giving them a bad name. Okay, maybe we shouldn't look to Europe. Let's see how Americans are doing. Maybe Americans are holding up. Oh shoot, it doesn't look like they're holding up any better. So student athlete left paralyzed after he was shot at a Waffle House. Sometimes the jokes do write themselves. While he was coming to his friend's aid, 18-year-old Seth Jackson had reportedly tried helping his friend who was being attacked by a group of teens. Now, when they say teens, oh, look, teens, teen takeovers, teen gang members, just children, didn't do nothing, at a Waffle House. And listen, Waffle House is kind of a, what's the word I'm looking for? A PvP zone, right? It's a mutual combat zone. But still, I would recommend staying away when these types of people are present.
The phone rings late at night. It's never good news.
James Jackson says his son's best friend called.
He told me that Seth had been shot, ruptured aorta, fractured ribs, spinal cord had been shattered. Oh. And then she just went right on and said he'll never walk again. Contract on an apartment.
But the unexpected.
Life changes and
leaves the Jacksons with many unknowns.
Again, it sounds tragic to view it this way, but that is actually in some ways a positive outcome, that he was not killed and his friend was not killed, right? Because he was coming to the defense of his friend. His friend has to do the hard thing and call his friend's father and say, listen, your son's just been shot in the back and he's never going to walk again. 18-year-old son, you know, in high school with his friends, getting into the prime of life, never able to walk again, but you do still have a son.
Number one concern is he survive it. We'll figure out the changes we need to make.
James saw Seth.
And that's a good dad. And that's a good dad. I mean, yeah, your son is what's important to you in this situation. You know, I have a story with my dad when I flipped a car. And it's actually a funny story. He has almost the same story with his father as well, my grandfather. Flipping a car, ruining a car, totaling a car. And, you know, I have to make a call and be like, Dad, I just ruined a car. And he's like, I don't care. You know, how are you doing? Right. That's the important thing.
Before he was taken in for his first surgery.
He was, I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm sorry. I love you. I love you. You know. And don't cry.
Seth told his dad a friend was attacked by two people when he went toward him to help.
He didn't even make it over there to him. A couple of them pulled out guns. So Seth put on his brakes and he said he turned to kind of run, and that's when he got shot. Every parent's nightmare.
It's a new and hard journey.
You get that call.
They'll tackle together.
Oh, he's going to be my baby.
In Richardson, I'm Tiffany Liu.
His young son, I mean, it's kind of it's just tragic all the way around, right? His son trying to defend his friend pays almost the ultimate price for it. I mean, kind of a good reminder on Good Friday that we have no greater love than to lay down your life for a friend, and this young man exemplified that there by trying to help his friend from these two animals, and was repaid by being paralyzed for the rest of his life, which is a tragic waste of what could have been. And they're still there, and I'm sure that they are going to get, like, listen, Seth is never going to walk again. He's never going to have a normal life again. No sports, no nothing. Maybe he gets lucky as a paralyzed man and gets married and can still have kids. Maybe, right? Outside chance of that. Never going to have a normal life. Those two, they'll be out and about. Give it a couple years, they'll be out and about. That's just the way it goes. They will be out and about, free to roam. Maybe they won't even get tried as adults because they're like 17 or 16 or something like that. But there will be no justice in this life for Seth. We do believe in ultimate justice for these people, one way or the other. But in the current paradigm that we have, it does seem that justice eludes these types of individuals. Well, again, this just happened a few days ago, so no, there is not going to be any prison sentence as of yet. If they're children, you won't even know their name. And when I say children, I mean like 17-year-olds. So it really comes down to whether or not they'll be tried as adults, if their sentence will even be made public. And again, under 10 years. These guys will not be in jail by the time they turn 30. Under 10 years, for sure.
I'm just looking at this father here. He looks like he would fit in just fine at a payphone booth with a hat.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, as the dad, like, I would be incentivized to remove these individuals from the gene pool, but then you would not be there. Because again, if you removed them, you would go to jail for the rest of your life, of course, because you're a white dude. You get punished under the full weight of the law. That's how that goes. Right. However, you do have to be there for your son.
Trust.
No, I get it. Yeah, but you have to be there for your son now. Like, in a weird way, usually the way it's supposed to go is when your children are young, you take care of them. When you're old, your children take care of you, right? And if you're a really good dad, well, guess what? Your kids are really incentivized to take care of you when you get old. That's how it should be. But in this, like, he's never leaving that fatherly, like, responsible role for his son in some way, unless the son manages to get married or he has brothers and sisters or somebody else that can take care of him. So he is his son's support system, like, forever. Released due to inability to frontal lobe. Yes. Well, how about something a little bit lighter in terms of frontal lobe reduction? Kind of something funny to end on, I guess. ABCs and math are racist. Did you guys know this? Are you aware of the new trend that ABCs are quite racist? Now, I am curious here at the jump scare to see if anyone says would. Okay, and I know there's a few of you guys out there that are going to be after it. Okay, and don't say you wouldn't, because I've seen your reaction to this clip.
You don't get to ask those questions. What's wrong with you, Mom? Why are you so scared?
Yeah, 89% of blacks in Chicago are illiterate. And it's like, what is it? LeBron's School for the Gifted or something has never had a passing grade or something like that. It's I don't think it's the lunches, guys.
Can you just do me a favor and say the ABCs, A to Z, without singing it?
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know, like, I don't.
Excuse me. That thing, like, I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and the 3-year-old could probably, I mean, my 3-year-old talks like broken English, like, it's not really a human language as far as we can tell, but she could probably get further in the ABCs than this young woman just did.
Just do me a favor and say the ABCs, A to Z, without singing it.
I think his parents were cousins. His. A, B, C, LGBTQ, ISD, T, HIV. Yeah. Yeah. I like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, I don't know. What do you want from me, officer? Okay. I got like, I made it. Okay. I did it. What do you want? What do you want from me, dude? What more can you ask for? Yeah. Tits are a psyop. Okay. Something I was thinking about that is funny. If we're using the Greek philosophy, the Aristotelian philosophy of the substance accidents distinction, all right, Black women have the accidents of the female, but not the substance of a female, if that makes sense. Like a robot can have some of the accidents of a female, the shape, the touch, the smell, whatever it might be. They can have the accidents of a woman, but not the substance. All right.
Could have fixed her, giving her the Michael Jackson treatment.
Yeah, this is true, Barassi. This is true. It's funny until you realize it can vote, and it can vote for the money in your wallet. Yeah. Well, so accidents are like not the thing itself, right? So like this is in Roman Catholic philosophy, this would be transubstantiation, right? So the bread, the substance of the bread in the Eucharist has actually transformed in a real way into the body and blood of Christ. But the accidents, the touch, the taste, the smell, those things have remained, right? So the substance of the thing is separated from the accidents of the thing. So in this case, like, it's a woman in terms of the accidents, right? It has the shape, the markings, it might have some of the other attributes of it, but not the substance, right? Not what it really is. Does that make sense? Yeah, I know. I had this thought the other day, Reformed Renegade, and I was like, wait a second. Can I just use this on certain individuals or, people that they're like, they have the accidents of us, but not necessarily the substance of us? Okay, 2A Andrew Wilson. Next thing you're going to tell us is that OnlyFans is wrong. Well, OnlyFans is wrong, but for different reasons, right? It's just funny. It's funny, okay? It's funny. All right, well, let's get to your guys' support and let's get out of here on a Friday. Moonman for 5 says, defeat the judge in any court case with this one simple trick hidden in your waistband. Dude, I should make a fake ad for that in a video. That would be funny. It's like, you want to fix America? Guess what? You can do it right now with this one simple trick. It's called Glock 17 to the back of the head. That might be too spicy for YouTube. I saw that Sam Hyde got in trouble for a similar take. Or not, it was his Phoenix Ammunition spoof. It wasn't even like that bad, but of course, it's going to make people upset. Chip Stubbo for 20 says, gentlemen, I'll catch the rest later. Have a good evening. Christ is king. Christ is king, and he died for you, and he loves you very much. So you should repent and say hi. He misses you. Also, this one.
You little bad boy. You got a lot of explaining to do.
That's actually St. Peter to me on Judgment Day, which is not looking forward to that one. Thank you, Chips. Bull Shark for 5 says, even the threat of a few specific bans can potentially price things out of market. Just look at how pistol brace prices doubled. Yeah, dude, I gotta review the Sons of Liberty Gunworks Mark 1 with the SBA 5 brace. That thing is just a stock. I think it's literally just a stock. It's good, but it's just a stock. Chud for 2 says, Mr. Shmooley, he's gonna turn you into a lampshade. Oy vey, he's gonna turn me into a lampshade, Judd. Listen, Judd, you gotta support Israel, Judd. Oh, I'm soaping. Zany for 5 says, John, Sam Hyde slur clip and logic, please. Where's the slur clip? Oh, shoot. I know I still have it. See, I wish I would gather these things together and arrange
You're
them.
getting called a slur. I don't know which one. Whichever one I feel like saying at the moment. You're getting called a slur.
Thank you. Richard got that one faster than I did. I couldn't find it. I gotta bump that up.
Not stop screaming until you admit I invented logic.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Zany. Sheep Herder for 5 says, one attacker? Yes, I was attacked by 2 people. You don't believe me? I was attacked by 3 people. If you don't hurry, you can catch the 4 men who did it. That's right. He threatened to kill me, officer. Officer, he's gonna kill me. He's gonna commit a holocaust. Buy my dildo. Test it out by my daughter. That's gross. Boondocks Balloon. Speaking of gross, Boondocks Balloon. Actually, that's... Wait, is it... Is the... You know, shoot. Nope, I can't go any further down this line of questioning. Jesus Christ be praised. Let all balloon knots be healed on this Good Friday, ready to celebrate this Easter Sunday. True. Yes, I hope that you all have had a good Holy Week so far and that you are prepared for Easter. Thank you, Boondock. Lightsport for 5 says, I read a resignation letter from a Candace Owens type, and I shit you not, she spelt captain caption in her official 2-week notice. Close enough. Well, listen, she's on her way out, dude. Does it really matter? She's on her way out. She's gone. It's over. It's over for her. But you know it's not over? This stream, because Pauly B for $33, mega based. So actually interesting. I was always raised in the Protestant tradition of believing that Christ was 33 years old at the death of his at the death and resurrection, right? Which is like pretty normalized within the church, although not everybody believes that. Like, so for instance, Irenaeus in the 2nd century believed Jesus was like in his late 40s, and St. John Chrysostom believed he was 44 years old at the time of his death and resurrection. So there is actually some interesting discrepancies upon the age of Jesus at time of death, right? Death and resurrection. So just interesting. Of course, now we're more standardized on 33, and 33 has a lot of other connotations and things that make it seem more sensible. But again, not always the agreed upon number. No amount, however, no amount or quality of victimhood was promised to anyone any thousands of years ago. However, he is risen 2,000 years ago. Very true. Mega based, Pauly. And just for that, you get that's the Pharisees after the resurrection, and they're like, what do you mean he's gone? What do you mean the stone got removed? What are you talking? The thing that we specifically asked to not be removed is gone? That's good. That's good. All right. No toes. Okay, perfect. Perfect. I was not going to give you any toes. Cody Fisher on Rumble says, the JewTube won't even let me call myself Goyim in Super Chats. Unreal. Well, listen, we're all Goys here. This is a Goy safe space. We can all just Goy out together, okay? Be a little chuddy. Have our little Goy friends. Have our little Goy life. And be left alone, okay? But with that out of the way, Richard, what do you got going on?
Well, I just want to point out that Suno actually removed Goyim from their list of acceptable words. So you can no longer make the funny music.
That's cringe.
Yeah. No, but for those who aren't aware,
I have like a Suno Pro membership. Maybe I should cancel it now.
Oh, well, you might be able to do it with Pro. I've just got the basic. So it wouldn't let me do it. I wanted to make some more fun songs and it would not. It said, nope. But yeah, for those who aren't aware, I do streams and music and fun things like that. So if I can ever get a break from the weather, hopefully I'll be making some more videos. But for now, I'm just doing the occasional stream.
Sorry, was that your outro?
Yeah, I was choking there a little bit. Sorry.
Okay, well, I was like, did you shout out your channel? You streamed beforehand. I just put your link in the YouTube chat and in the Rumble chat. You should go subscribe to Richard's Cranium, Richard's Headspace. He usually streams before the stream.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. Sorry, I took a drink and it's not going well.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you everyone for hanging out with us, for spending your Friday evening with us when you should probably be doing something a little bit more productive. Even so, I genuinely appreciate it. And it is a good time of the year to sort of realign yourself to what truly matters, it being a Good Friday of Holy Week. We have a couple of days before the resurrection celebration on Easter Sunday, at least here in the West. I know it's a little bit different for people out in the East, but regardless of all that, I wish everyone a very, very happy, very blessed Holy Week, a very blessed Easter. And to the Jews, nice try. Nice try. Cody for 10 says, love, as always, we will prevail. We will prevail. We have the mandate of heaven. God is on our side. And regardless of the pain, the suffering, the struggle is ours to endure. Because we've been ordained for this time. And with all that out of the way, thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next one. God bless. Godspeed. Christ is King.